strength. This is useless. It's not useless, man.
For me, this is easy. I have to believe, I have to desire. I'm the greatest fighter since the conception of God. My trademark, my speed, but I can do it all.
But there was you and me, that is my just my child in the mix.
Man for man, nobody can match me.
Hello there, everyone. I'm Ariel Helwani. Thank you so very much for joining us here on this very special day. This is the very first press conference leading up to one of the most anticipated, one of the most talked about sporting events of 2020. Who would have thought at the beginning of this year, back in January, that we would be getting ready to watch Mike Tyson, yes, Iron Mike Tyson himself, the legend Mike Tyson, come out of retirement, compete in his first fight in over 15 years against fellow legend, Mr. Y'all Must Have Forgot himself, the great Roy Jones Jr. It all goes down November 28th, live on pay-per-view, and in particular on TysonOnTriller.com. And you'll be able to watch it all over the world. It's a 4-fight main card beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern, and it's something for everyone on this card. Of course, you have the two legends, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., going toe-to-toe in a heavyweight fight, 8 rounds, 2 minutes each, an exhibition bout that will be scored by the WBC, no headgear, 12-ounce gloves. They will be going toe-to-toe to determine who is the baddest man of all time. Also, in cruiserweight action, in the co-main event, we have YouTube sensation, the 1-0 Jake Paul, going up against Nate Robinson. Yes, that Nate Robinson, formerly of the NBA, the 3-time slam dunk champion, making his boxing debut. They'll be going toe-to-toe in cruiserweight action. In light heavyweight action, we'll have Badou Jack the Ripper, going up against Blake McKernan. And kicking off the main card will be cruiserweights Vidal Riley and Rashad Coulter, the former UFC fighter. So like I said, something for everyone on this card. And on this press conference, we will be talking to all 8 competitors on the main card. They will all be joining us from different locations. We'll be joined by the media who will be able to ask questions. Usually I'm the one asking questions. I'll do a little of that as well. But this is all about the media, and fans will be able to ask questions as well. So this is going to be a great time. And I know it's debate season. We've seen some crazy debates as of late. I'll be keeping law and order here, so things won't get too crazy. Actually, I'm just joking. Things are going to get crazy here, so strap on your seatbelt. All right, let's get things rolling here. Let's go. First up, let's talk about Vidal Riley and Rashad Coulter. They're kind enough to join us right now. This is a lot of fun. This is very exciting. Both men right there in front of you. And I'm going to kick things off here for a couple minutes, and then we'll go to the media. First off, guys, and Rashad, I'll start with you. I've had the pleasure of covering your MMA career. Of course, remember your time in the UFC. I know you have one boxing fight on your record. That was 5 years ago. Why are you making the transition now from mixed martial arts to boxing?
I just want to say thank you, man. Thanks for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure talking to you, Ariel. And thanks to Triller, thanks to Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. for allowing me to be on the card with them. I mean, boxing is something that I've always loved, man. I grew up watching Mike Tyson. I love Mike Tyson. It's not that I haven't fought in so long. I've always boxed. And if it was up to me, I would have more boxing matches, but I don't. But I'm not crossing over. I've been doing boxing. This is just so happened to be my first fight in boxing in a few years.
Okay, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, Vidal, for you, some fans of yours and fans of the fight game will recognize you as the trainer for the very popular KSI. You've been by his side, but I feel like people are disrespecting your skills, my man. You have a very extensive boxing resume. So for those that may not know, or for those that just think that you're, the guy who trains KSI, let the people know where you've been in the boxing world.
Well, thanks for having me, Ariel. Let me get into this. It's gonna take a little while, but no, I've been boxing since I was 2 years old. I won my first national title at 11 years old. Continued to win more, so I ended up winning 8 national titles, representing Team GB, captain the England team. Went to the Youth Olympics, European medalist, World Championship competitor twice. So yeah, I've had my fair share of boxing in my life, and meeting JJ KSI, as you referred to him, was a way of propelling me into public eye. But the work's been done behind the scenes for a long time.
Okay, great stuff there, and I appreciate you letting us know. In the words of Roy Jones, you almost forgot you actually have your own career. You're not just a trainer. So, all right, let's go to the media now, and I'll call upon Josh Evanoff first of Courtside Sound Off. You have the first question, Josh.
Thanks, Daryl. I have a question for Vidal, and I also have a question for Rashad. For Vidal first, you signed with Floyd Mayweather and the Money Team last year, and my first kind of question is, how essential has it been being with fighters of that caliber, being with somebody like Floyd and Jeff Mayweather, and building upon your already amazing background? How essential has that been for you, working with a team of that caliber?
That's been great. That's been literally what I needed. I don't feel out of place. The reason why I'm signed to is because I'm destined to go into the same place. Working with people who have that attitude and their ceiling is so high, it makes you want to fulfill those expectations. So working with Jeff, my new coach, Otis Pimpleton, these are people that have been around world champions, been around the highest level for a long time. So when I'm in the ring with them, when I'm training with them, I'm just soaking up all the knowledge that I've already had from the past, combining it, and you'll see how far it goes.
Okay, awesome. And then for Rashad, you brought up how boxing was kind of your thing and how you have a background in that. Now, you mentioned how you haven't fought for a couple of years. Was it a bit of a surprise to you to get that call to fight on the undercard of a Mike Tyson-Roy Jones fight against somebody of, high stature and high caliber like Vidal is?
No, man, it wasn't a surprise to me. Man, I'm blessed and I'm highly favored, man. So it didn't surprise me that a door was open on a card of this magnitude. But man, listen, I hear that he's been around for a long time, and he's, he knows boxing. He grew up boxing. I'm just grateful that they gave me the opportunity to even step in there on a card like this. And the truth of the matter is, the only reason why they're giving me the opportunity is because they think it's gonna be an easy fight. But I'm okay with that. And like I said, I do appreciate Vidal. I appreciate Mike Tyson and Roy Jones for even giving me the opportunity to display my skills on such a high magnitude card.
Josh, thank you very much for the questions. Before we get to our next question, I just have to ask you, Vidal, do you agree with what Rashad just said? Do you feel like this is an easy fight for you?
No, I don't think any fight is easy. No, I don't think any fight is easy, but if they end up being easy, then that's just how it goes. I prepare for a tough fight. I always prepare for the highest level of competition or position, but that doesn't always happen. So I'm trying to repeat that process throughout my whole career, and I don't see why November 28th should be any different.
Okay, again, as you just said, November 28th on pay-per-view, Tyson on Triller.com. Let's go to our next question. Let's go to my man, Michael Fidel of The Body Lock. Michael, you're next.
Thank you. Question for Rashad. Rashad, obviously, many MMA fans will recognize you from your UFC career appearances on UFC 211, UFC 225. In what ways has preparing for this fight, a boxing match, been different for you? Who have you brought in as far as training partners, and how are you approaching returning to the boxing ring after a lengthy MMA career?
As far as that goes, man, I don't really have to bring anybody in. people think that I haven't done boxing, but you gotta understand that my very first sparring session ever in boxing was right in front of Derrick James and Errol Spence Jr. I've been around EJ, I've been around Charlo, I've been around Maurice Hooker, I've been around so many boxers since 2014. I mean, I've sparred like Alex Clarkson, I sparred Adrian Taylor, I sparred Cam Awesome, who has like almost 400 amateur fights. So me seeing Vidal's credentials, it doesn't scare me because I've been in there with guys who have the same credentials, or no disrespect to him, or even greater credentials than he does. So I feel like I'm right at home, man.
Thank you for the question, Michael. And Vidal, I want to ask you, have you ever seen Rashad striking? Have you seen his MMA fights? Have you seen his lone boxing fight? And if so, what do you make of it?
I saw a clip of one of his MMA fights when I heard I was going to fight him. But when I fight my opponents, I actually don't watch them until the week of the fight. I focus on myself. That's what I do. That's what I've been doing, and it works for me. I only watch the week because I just want to get a little gist of what could happen, what they could do. But I go in there with a blank page. It's easier to draw on a paper with space.
All right. I like that. Okay, let's go to our next question now. Let's go to my fellow Canadian, Cole Shelton of BJPenn.com. Cole, you're up.
All right, thanks, Errol. Question for both these guys is Vidal, UFC coach KSI. You said you stopped coaching. What's training camp like now that you aren't having to focus as coach? Because you were coaching a lot of those UK guys at KSI and Son Gibb. Now it's fully focused on your fighting career.
You know what? I feel the same. I feel the same because I managed to separate my responsibilities, and that's why I step away from one or I do the other, because I understand how much dedication, focus, and time it takes to deliver and be the best in both. So when I'm coaching the guys, it's not a distraction away from my career because I'm solely focused on them. And then once that's done and they're resting and they're doing what they've been doing for years, I go back to what I've been doing for years, and the focus remains the same. So no distraction. Obviously, it's not like a background thought, but I feel the same. Mentally, same stuff.
And then,
Rashad, go ahead. Go ahead, Cole.
You kind of brought it up. Do you think you're being brought in here to lose because Vidal Riley signed to the Mayweather team, undefeated? He's kind of this highly touted prospect of England. Is this a fight you think you're going to get smoked in?
Sheldon, what's up, man? What it do, man? No, it's not. But here's the thing: that's boxing. I mean, it's no secret to how boxing works. Boxing tries to build a fighter, so therefore they bring a fighter in that they feel as though is not up to the caliber of the person that they're trying to push, and they want you to lose. But in this aspect, it's not the same, man. Of course, they think that I'm just an MMA fighter. They think that I don't know boxing. They think that, MMA fighters don't use their jet. All these things. To me, that doesn't matter. Like I said, I respect my opponent. I respect all my opponents as far as what they do, where they come from, and the hard work that they put in. But listen, man, I took a fight in the UFC, my debut, on 9 days' notice in front of 20,000 people. I fought on huge stages, and I actually got moved up to the main card as I was going to the arena. I was supposed to be the first fight of the night. On my way to the arena, they stopped me and said, "Hey, man, we just moved you up to the main card." So pressure for me, I'm built for pressure, man. Like, I'm built for pressure, and some people are not. But when those lights are on and when I get hit, everybody's credentials is going to go out the window. It's going to boil down to who got the heart, who wanted more, and I feel as though, man, when people fight me, after they fight me, they feel as though they would never want to fight me again because I'm going to push you to that point to quit.
All right, one last question for Vidal and Rashad. Let's go to Harry Davies of SB Nation. Harry, you're up.
Hi Rashad, hi Vidal, how you guys doing? My first question is for you, Rashad. Obviously, you turn 39 next month, and I was just wondering what's next for you after this fight, and if it depends on the outcome, if it goes well, do you stick in boxing, and if not, do you maybe go back to your MMA ventures?
Honestly, man, like, you know, people, you start a question off with you're 39. But people who don't really do their research, they don't understand, man, like, my body doesn't have all that wear and tear on it. I wasn't fighting coming up all these years. I didn't have my first fight until I was 30 years old. I didn't fight through the amateurs, none of that. And I excelled to the top, to the highest level of the sport within 5 years. So 39 means nothing to me. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to go. I'm going to put on a show. And what's next for me, would I like to stick to boxing? Of course, man. But like I said, the boxing game is so crap. It's not like when I beat Vidal that they're going to be, okay, we're going to push you. We're going to give you somebody that we can build you with. It doesn't work like that. They're going to try to put me there with another top prospect that they think can beat me. But whatever is open for MMA, I hope it opens up more doors for me for MMA. I just can't get an MMA fight. And I'm always training. I'm always boxing. And this is what my heart is right now. I'm concentrating on this fight. Whatever comes after that, whatever door God opens for me after that, I'm going to take it, man, like full speed, because I'm not done. I'm just getting started.
Thanks, Rashad. And now for you, Vidal. Obviously, you already fought some cards with some big buzz around them. How important is this event going forward for your career, you know, as you continue to build up your record with more and more fights?
Of course, it's extremely important because this is major exposure to the traditional boxing world. You know, I've accumulated a great following through another community, through my other ventures. But when it comes to boxing, especially over here in the States, this is a good statement for me to show my skills and prove what I'm saying about how long I've been in the game is actually shown in the ring. So yeah, it's a great stage. We've got two legends in the main event, my favorite fighter, Roy Jones, in the main event. And these things are all blessings and all opportunities. And we got to take them when they come, and we got to maximize the opportunity. That's what I'm looking to do.
Harry, thank you very much for the questions. And Badou and Rashad, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck to you guys on November 28th.
Man, thanks for having us, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Ariel. Appreciate you.
All right. All the best to Badou and Rashad. Coming up next, we will hear from Badou, Jack the Ripper, and Blake McKernan. This is a light heavyweight bout. It will be the second fight on the main card, a very intriguing fight, that is. But first, a little breaking news. I like to break news, so how about this? As I said, November 28th, that will be the date of this great pay-per-view. It goes down in Los Angeles. It is headlined by Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. That is the main event. You can watch it on pay-per-view all across this great world, and of course on TysonOnTriller.com. And now we can officially reveal for the very first time that the event will take place at the world-famous...
Hi, I'm Suzanne, owner and operator of Jack's Car Wash in Fredericksburg, Virginia. My husband Mike and I are both Marine Corps veterans who have enlisted our own kids to help operate our small family business. Jack's Car Wash and customers of Jack's Car Wash proudly support the Vets on Track Foundation. Beside me is our friend Carla, who volunteers and performs community
Staples Center in Los Angeles, in downtown Los Angeles, to be exact. Yes, the home of the Los Angeles Lakers, the 2020 world champion, home of LeBron James, of course, the LA Clippers, and the Los Angeles Kings. Now, this is going to be the first sporting event at the Staples Center since the pandemic. That's a really big deal. Now, unfortunately, as of right now, fans cannot attend. However, this will be taking place at the Staples Center. The great Mario Lopez will be hosting this amazing pay-per-view card. Jim Gray will be doing pre- and post-fight interviews. It's a star-studded event, and once again, this is the four-fight main card. Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. in the main event, a heavyweight fight, 8 rounds, 2 minutes each, no headgear, 12-ounce gloves, will be scored by WBC, and they'll be competing for the Frontline Battle Belt, which we revealed earlier in the week. Cruiserweight action will feature Nate Robinson, formerly of the New York Knicks and many other NBA teams, the 3-time slam dunk champion, making his pro boxing debut against the one and only Jake Paul, who is undefeated, yes, 1-0. as a pro boxer, so they'll be going toe-to-toe. There's a lot of bad blood there. We'll hear from them later in this press conference as well. Light heavyweight action, and the two men that we'll be hearing from in a matter of moments. Badou Jack going up against Blake McKernan of Sacramento, the 916, I do believe. And, of course, the first fight of the night, the two men who just joined us earlier, Rashad Coulter, formerly of the UFC, former MMA fighter. He says he is not done fighting in MMA, but for now he'll be going back to the world of boxing. He has one fight in the world of boxing back in 2015, going up against Vidal Riley, who is undefeated. For now, though, let us say hello to Badou Jack the Ripper and Blake McKernan, who are next up to join us. It is a great honor to be joined by these two gentlemen who I do believe their future is so bright they both have to wear shades. That's how exciting this fight is. Blake and Badou. Oh, okay, Badou doesn't, you didn't like my joke, Badou. Okay, fair enough. Great to be joined by you guys. Badou, let me ask you, you have, one of the best records on this card. Boxing fans certainly know who you are. You're no stranger to big events. Were you familiar with Blake when you were offered this fight? And if not, what did you think when you were offered this fight?
No, I'm definitely not familiar, but still, I'm not. And, it was supposed to be an exhibition at first, so, I was like, I wasn't really into exhibitions. Then they said, no, it's going to be a real fight. So I guess this is the guy they picked, and, it's just another day at the office.
Blake, what do you make of him, Badou, saying that he's still not familiar with you? This fight has obviously been official for quite some time. Still doesn't know who you are.
Right. I think that they're definitely overlooking me. I think that they're not looking at me as any type of threat. They're looking at me as probably an easy payday or a walkover fight. And that's something that they definitely shouldn't have done. They're going to learn very quickly that picking me for this fight was the wrong decision. This is a moment and opportunity that I've been being prepared and prepped for my entire life, and I'm ready to seize the moment.
I love it. All right, let's go to the media questions now. First up is Donna Corby of MMA Island. Donna, you're up.
Hi, first one for Blake. You mentioned there that they're overlooking you and that you're definitely the underdog going into this fight. What does a win against a former champion like Badou Jack do for your career?
Well, everybody that follows boxing knows that me beating Badou is going to, traject my career and my life in so many ways that I can't even fathom right now or even put into words. But, above everything, I'm just staying focused like I've always done throughout my entire career. I treat every single fight as if I'm getting ready for a world title fight. And knowing that when I show up on Fight Night, I'm going to showcase the skills that I need to leave victorious with my hands raised.
All right, Donna, thank you very much for the question.
Last 5.
Oh, go ahead, Donna. All right, you got one more.
Oh, sorry. Badou, just for you, you're 1-2-2 in your last 5. If you don't get the win, is this kind of do or die for you in your boxing career?
If I don't get the win? You say that? Yeah. The last fight was not a loss. The last fight I got robbed, and the fight before that I got headbutted. So that was an injury. So it was kind of hard to fight. But no, I'm looking forward to this fight. This is, to me, this is for charity. This is for my foundation, the Badou Jack Foundation. So this is all the proceeds go to my foundation to help kids, all over the world, to give them a fighting chance in life. And I'm gonna win this fight and then on to the next one.
All right, thank you very much for the questions, Donna. Great stuff there. Let's go to Gabriel Gonzalez next of H-Side Press.
Hey, thank you, Ariel. Question for Badou. You've been part of several traditional type of boxing.
Could bring ruin upon us all. There may be dark days ahead. Perhaps Kamatage could use a man like Strange. Don't shut me out. Thank you. Bathe. Rest. Meditate, if you can.
With Mucinex All-in-One, you've got unbeatable relief from your worst cold and flu symptoms. So when you need to show your cold who's...
hybrid event, not just streaming, but it's also co-headlined by social media stars, kind of like a exhibition crossover between Nate and Jake Paul.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a real fight card. I mean, like a normal fight card. It's more of an event, so I get it. So I'm not used to fighting, before. There's a couple of YouTubers, but it is what it is. I think of it more, as my charity. Donate everything to my charity. That's what it's all about. It's not a typical fight card. So yeah, I'm not mad about nothing like that. I'm just, this is for the kids.
Question to Blake, just being part of a hybrid event like this one.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, just what's it like? It's not a traditional boxing event. It's got a bit of a the exhibition flair to it with Jake Paul, Nate Robinson. It's streaming. It's not on your traditional pay-per-view platform, and just what it's like to be part of this kind of event.
Yeah, coming into it, obviously, as Badou mentioned, it's completely different than a basic boxing match. It's more so of an event. But, with that said, I'm still treating it as a fight that I've prepared for any other time. And, I'm extremely thankful to be able to be even presented with this opportunity. I know Badou and their team, may not know too much about me, but I'm thankful for the opportunity. Thank you to Legends League and Triller. Ultimately, I'm just looking forward to go out here and being able to become more of a household name and be able to show this country and this world more so of who I am. And being able to share the ring with a seasoned veteran like Badou, I'm a man, I'll always show respect and give credit where credit is due. Being in the ring and sharing the ring with somebody like Badou Jack, the guy's definitely achieved a lot in his career, so you always got to give respect for that. But within that said, again, I think that him and his team are definitely overlooking me. And I feel like that's a big mistake because I'm showing up on fight night ready to go, prepped for war and ready for battle. And, I know that when I win this fight and leave victorious, it's definitely going to traject my career in ways that I can't even fathom right now. So, I'm just staying focused on the goal at hand and, staying focused on the things I need to do to be able to leave victorious.
All right, next up is my colleague over at ESPN, Eric Woodyard. Eric, you're up.
What's up, man? How you doing, Badou?
Good. How are you?
Hey, man, I was in Chicago for the Anthony Durrell fight, so I saw you in the when you fought there and win the title and stuff like that. And for you, man, just seeing events like this, seeing Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, you was on undercard of Mayweather when he fought McGregor. Yeah. What do you think this does for the business of sports? Showing that it could be non-traditional ways to have fights and continue to take it to the next level instead of just traditional ways. What do you think this does for boxing to really brand it out?
I mean, hopefully we can get some new fans to boxing. This is very different, but like I said, it's for my charity, and it's a big opportunity, and I'm just blessed and thankful for Tyson actually calling us. He called us and asked if we want to be the co-main event for his fight. I didn't even know that he still was gonna fight. So I'm just thankful.
All right. Thank you very much for the question, Eric. And I do want to remind everyone that 3 of the 4 main card fights are official bouts, not exhibitions. I don't want to correct you, Badou, but they are official bouts. And I do want to remind people as well that you can watch this all over the world on pay-per-view, traditional or not, and of course on TysonOnTriller.com. Blake, I can't help but ask you this question. You hear Badou say that he doesn't know who you are and it's for his charity and all this stuff. What goes through your mind when you hear your opponent talking about you like this? Do you feel like it is disrespectful?
People could take it as that. It's kind of comical to me. The fact that the number one rule in boxing and life is you should never underestimate anybody because you never know what anybody's capable of doing, right? In the sport of boxing, you never want to look past the fight that's right in front of you. You should never underestimate any of your opponents because, again, you have no idea their skill set or what they're capable of doing. What I can tell you and promise you is that Badou Jack has never faced or even shared the ring with a man of a caliber like myself. And the reason I say that is I'm a decorated combat vet. I've been this overseas. I've fought in war. I've served my country. I know what it feels like to look death straight in the eyes and to walk away and to survive. I've done it countless times. Staring at Badou Jack across the ring doesn't intimidate me in no way, shape, form, or fashion. I'm showing up, again, prepped for war and ready for battle, ready to showcase the skills that I need to leave victorious. And like I've done every single fight, I'm a man of positive affirmations, a man of God. I speak my greatness into existence. November 28th, I will go 14-0. And we're going to leave it at that. I'm going to continue to take this as a stepping stone and keep on moving up the ladder. This is destiny is God and God's plan, man. Badou Jack is just one of the names and the people that are standing in my way right now, and I'm looking forward to sharing the ring with them and doing what I need to leave victorious on November 28th.
And Badou, I do want to let you know, I know you said you didn't know a lot about Blake. His nickname is the Beast because he spent 3.5 years as a machine gunner in the infantry, including 1 year in Iraq. You heard what he just said. I couldn't help but see you smile there. What is your response to what he just said?
I mean, I'm a quiet guy. I don't talk a lot of shit. We'll see fight night, but my team is telling me that he's been talking crazy. So I wonder who's overlooking who. And that I haven't been in the ring with somebody like that. That just, come on, man. I fought 8 world champions back to back. So this guy's a club level fighter. So
hey, not to interrupt, but nobody's talking crazy, man. I understand that you share the ring with world champions, but this is a different caliber. This is a different caliber.
He don't deserve to be on this stage. We gave him an opportunity, so you should show a little respect.
Hey, I definitely got respect for you, man. I commend you on what you've done in and outside of the ring in your career and in your life. The number one thing that we both share is that we're fathers. At the end of the day, I'm looking forward to sharing the ring with you, putting on one hell of a show. I'm showing up prepared to die in that ring, to do whatever I have to leave victorious. But at the end of the night, what's most important is that you and I both make it home safe to our families, man. So with that said, nobody's overlooking anybody on my side. We understand perfectly what we're getting involved in, getting ready to walk into. I just hope that you start doing your homework and you're prepared and doing the same thing.
This guy actually, it's kind of funny. He reminds me of, what's the name of that guy that Mike Tyson fought? Peter McNeely. That's how he talks. Yes. But it's all good. It's a fight. What are you going to say? Yeah, I'm going to go in there and get my ass kicked? No. Of course, he got to believe in himself. And, this is the Hurt Business. Tune in to November 28th.
Badou, let me ask you, between now and November 28th, will you watch a single second of footage of his previous fights?
His team's already been watching footage of me. They've already been putting tabs on me.
Oh, okay. What's your response, Badou?
No, I don't. I fought so many guys. I had 150 amateur fights. I fought so many great fighters. So, yeah, I'm not really worried about him. But I respect any man to step in the ring with me.
You and me both. Looking forward to sharing the ring with you, Badou, and I'll see you fight night, bro.
Club level fighter. That's the ultimate disrespect there, Blake. Don't deserve to be on the card. I'm assuming this is firing you up. We're less than a month away.
Hey, man, I'm over here smiling. It's humorous to me. The fact that, again, he thinks that I'm a club level fighter, it's okay. I understand, I'm 13-0. I'm ranked top 16 in the country in my weight division. Badou Badou needs to beat me in order to save his career. That's what they need. You know, even though he has had some very tough fights, you know, he's fought numerous world champions. Again, I give him credit where credit is due. The guy has had a phenomenal career, but he hasn't technically won a fight in 3 years. Him and his team need me to be an easy walkover fight to, in a sense, save his career. You know, I believe that Badou, correct me if I'm wrong, he turns 37 before we fight. In my opinion, you know, looking at his age and his record and how long he's been fighting, Badou's in a sense on a downward trajectory in his career. I'm on an uphill, you know, in my career, and you know, I'm just looking forward to, after winning this fight, seeing where this excels me to.
Well, I love it. If you weren't looking forward to this fight before this afternoon, I feel like I could speak for everyone and say we are looking forward to it now. Tremendous stuff, guys. Best of luck in the final month, and we look forward to seeing you on November 28th.
Thank you.
All right. Badou Jack the Ripper and the one and only Blake McKernan. Now, coming up next, Jake Paul and Nate Robinson will have their turn on the mic. Are you having fun yet? Because I sure as heck am. November 28th, pay-per-view, Tyson on Triller. Like I said at the top, something for everyone. A lot of people have been reaching out to me. My guy Daniel Cormier called me today. He said, Nate Robinson is going to be competing in boxing. The 3-time slam dunk champion is going to be stepping into the squared circle. And I said, yes, DC, that is in fact true. It's Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul in the co-main event. You see them right over there. Of course, we heard earlier today on this here press conference from Rashad Coulter, the former UFC fighter, and his opponent, Badou Riley. Just heard from Badou Jack the Ripper and Blake McKernan, who has a phenomenal backstory. I touched on it a little bit, didn't give him his proper due, so do read up more on Blake's backstory and what an opportunity this is for Blake. And then, of course, you have Jake Paul, the younger brother of Logan Paul, who have taken the boxing scene by storm. He is 1-0 as a pro boxer, and he is going up against Nate Robinson. He has been engaged in a war of words with multiple fighters, the likes of Ryan Garcia to the great Bellator fighter Dylan Dennis, all trying to get their shots at Jake Paul. Ben Askren as well, the former UFC fighter, won championship and Bellator champion. But for now, it is Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson. We will be hearing from them coming up next. But first, I don't know if you know this, but over on the Triller app, there's been a great docu-series that's been airing leading up to the big Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. fight. Here's a teaser in case you missed it.
Your journey requires Liberty Mutual. They customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Wow, that will save you lots of money. This game's boring.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
The fight coming up with Mike and Roy Jones is going to be amazing because once Mike gets into fight mode, anything can happen.
Who else beat Mike Tyson?
Roy Jones is pound for pound one of the all-time greats.
I see that look again. Focus, moving well.
The way that Mike was hitting that bag today, I feel sorry for the bag. On this shirt right here, it says 44. Hey, yo, who wants to be 45?
Not the hard thing.
Flavor Flav. Again, you can watch that entire docuseries right now over on the Triller app. You can download it wherever you get your apps. And again, it's November 28th on TysonOnTriller.com. Also on pay-per-view all across the world. It's Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. It will be refereed, by the way, by Ray Corona, longtime legendary boxing referee. It will be hosted by the one and only Mario Lopez, a.k.a. AC Slater, but of course now a world-renowned host. And Jim Gray, the legendary Jim Gray, will be doing pre- and post-fight interviews. Again, it's a 4-fight main card beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And as we announced earlier here on the press conference, it will be taking place at Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles, the very first sporting event since everything essentially shut down in this country back in March. I do believe the last sporting event to take place at Staples Center was in early March, the first week of March, a hockey game, a NHL game between the Ottawa Senators and the Los Angeles Kings. Of course, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. will be competing for the WBC Frontline Battle Belt that was revealed earlier this week. That is the main event, but for now, let us go to the two participants in the co-main event, the one and only Jake Paul, the YouTube sensation, who is here joining us, I do believe, via the phone. You see his picture right over there. And the three-time NBA slam dunk champion, the former New York Knick, the former Boston Celtic, the former Chicago Bull. The list goes on and on. The one and only Nate Robinson, who is making his pro boxing debut on November 28th. There is Jake Paul. His hair is joining us. Jake, are you with us right now? What's going on over there? Everyone shut up. Where are you?
Nothing.
Where are you joining us from, Jake?
I'm just chilling, man. I came to the hospital to get a little checkup. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. But, bro, thank you for having me, bro. Huge fan.
Well, thank you. What happened to you, Jake? Why are you at the hospital?
We were having a little morning practice, and my team was afraid that I was turning into Iron Man. I punched a hole through a car.
Okay. Nate, what do you make of this? Are you worried that Jake isn't going to show up in a month?
Nah, he has to show up, man. This is duty too.
Okay, well, we all look forward to it. Let me ask you, Nate. A lot of people have been asking me, is it really Nate Robinson? Like Nate Robinson, slam dunk Nate, the three-time champ, the former Knick. He's coming to boxing. Could you tell people why you are doing this? Why have you decided to cross over into the world of boxing?
I mean, first and foremost, man, I want to just thank God for the opportunity. This is a great opportunity for myself and for my friends and family and everybody from Seattle and Oakland, California. So I just want to prove and show people that I'm one of the greatest athletes to ever walk the earth.
I love it. And if anyone's been following you on social media, they'll know that you've been putting in the work. You look tremendous. So, all right, let's go to the media questions now. Jake, hopefully you're still good to go and you'll be able to answer some of these. Corey Erdman of Boxing Scene, my fellow Canadian, up first.
Thanks, Ariel. Nate, I wanted to ask, and you brought up, obviously, your athleticism. Having been at the highest level in both basketball and in football, and now going through a professional boxing training camp, can you describe for us what the difference is between being in football shape, in basketball shape, and in pro boxing shape?
Oh man, honestly, man, it's a big difference. Boxing, it's a mental thing. You do a lot of running. It's really physical. Basketball, football, it's a little bit of the same. But for me, shooting, jumpers, and tackling, and guarding guys, playing defense is a little bit different than actually getting in the ring, hitting the mitts, and working on your conditioning and working on your mental aspect of the game.
Thanks, guys.
Corey, thank you very much for the question. Nate, how familiar are you with Jake Paul and maybe his brother as well? They're obviously very big stars. Were you familiar with him when you were offered this fight?
His brother, you see his brother on the Disney Channel,
Bro, you are dumb.
Making people laugh.
You're dumb.
Him
You're dumb,
on Disney doing so much stuff, man. So I follow Jake's YouTube, of course. How can you not? Listen, he's already interrupting the interview already.
Bro,
very, very disrespectful.
Started this.
Very disrespectful. And for me, it's just gonna be fun to see him November 28th.
You're the one that started talking shit on Instagram.
Never mind.
So of course you knew who I was. You were saying, "Oh, Jake's never fought a real athlete."
Am I lying? Have you? You haven't.
Shut
No, you haven't.
up.
You're fighting only
Shut
YouTube.
up.
You and your
That
brother
doesn't
only
mean
fight
anything.
YouTubers. That's it, bro. So you're gonna fight a real athlete
And who
for the
have
first
you
time
fought?
in your life.
Who have you fought? You fought nobody.
Don't worry, I ain't fighting nobody. I fight you. I'm gonna fight you.
You
I'm gonna
suck.
beat your ass. I'm gonna beat your
You're
ass.
boring and you suck.
I know, man. Just come bring that same energy November 28th,
You know you're boring.
bro.
You know you're
Yeah,
boring and
I'm
you know
very
you
boring.
suck. That's good. At least you know
Very
something.
boring.
You sure as hell don't know how to box. You
I
sure
don't.
as hell don't know
I
how
don't.
to box.
And so once you show me November 28th, bro. That's all you
I'm
gotta
gonna
do.
show you.
Thank you.
That's what I'm gonna do, Nate. I'm gonna do
That's
that.
what I'm talking
I'm gonna
about.
show
There you go. There you go.
You asked
That a
for
boy.
it. You
That a
asked
boy.
for it.
I
All right,
did.
Christmas. It's Christmas time, and I'm gonna give you everything you asked for because I'm
Thank
Santa
you.
Claus, baby.
Appreciate it. Thank you, baby. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. We'll go to our next media question. Let's go back to Eric Woodyard of ESPN. Eric, you're up.
Hey, what's up, Nate? How you doing, man?
I'm good. How you doing, brother?
Man, got a chance to catch up with you before, man, a few weeks ago. But two-part question for you. Obviously, you spoke about the mental aspect of, trying to, get into this teams. You used to being a team sport guy, so training for something where you're the only guy. Just kind of talk about that process. And have you ever been this motivated to do something? I hear the trash talk. Just have you ever been this motivated to do something individually like this right now?
Nah, man, it's been pretty good. I mean, besides getting ready for the draft. My younger days. Training in the gym, just me and my coach getting the shots up, preparing myself to be drafted in 2005. That was like pretty much the last time. So now getting an opportunity to come in and showcase what I can do and be ready November 28th it's been fun.
Caleb Sofa and Love Seat. With Bob's discount, you get both pieces for just $7.99.
$7.99? Are you joking?
Do I look like I'm joking?
Yes, you look like you're joking.
I'm serious.
Cool.
Get Bob's discount.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for the question. Jake, by the way, are you a big NBA fan? Were you a fan of Nate's back in the day?
Oh, I'm a huge fan. I'm Nate Robinson's #1 fan. I actually got one of his jerseys, and when I ordered it, there was only one left. So I can't believe I'm so lucky to get a Nate Robinson jersey. And every time I wear it out, they say, "Wow, I've never seen one of those before." Yeah. Huge Nate Robinson fan.
So cap.
Huge Nate Robinson fan.
Nate,
I asked him for a picture the other day, and he said no. So apparently, he doesn't take pictures with his fans. I think he's a little bit of an asshole, but it's okay. I'm still a fan.
You're a fake fan, bro. It's okay.
The problem is I'm going to be bouncing his head off the canvas. And that's the only thing that's going to be dribbling on November 28th, baby.
That's all he does is yap.
Okay, we'll go to. And by the way, Nate, did you really say no about the picture, or is that not?
Yes.
I don't take pictures with fake fans like him.
Okay, fair enough.
Only my
I'm a real fan, Nate. I bought one of your jerseys, bro. I bought one. Huge Nate Robinson fan, bro. Huge fan.
All right, for now, let's go to our next media question. Let's go to Jeremy with Fansided. Jeremy, you're up.
Hi, Nate. You had a really nice piece done on you by Eric for ESPN, and you talked about the first time that you stepped in the ring and you started sparring. Can you describe how far you've come from the first time that you set in the ring sparring to where you are today as a boxer?
Big time, man. Just the progress I've made over the months has been awesome. I think that getting the fight pushed back was a great deal for me. Learning.
It saved your life, Bubba.
Didn't save anything, bro. Don't worry. But it was just more time to focus and get right. Honestly, just really show people the hard work that I put into this. Come November 28th, it's gonna be a great show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the question. Jake, I couldn't help but notice on Nate's Instagram a couple days ago, he said that you've grown up with a silver spoon in your mouth. You don't come from the mud like he come from. He didn't even know if you know what that means. What's your response to that?
Nate sounds like an idiot when he says that. His dad was in the NFL and his mom owns a beauty salon. My dad was a roofer. My mom was a nurse. We're from the mud, and he doesn't know shit. I work for everything I have. I'm a self-made millionaire. I'm a self-made millionaire at a young age. And, I'd be mad too. I'd be mad too if I was Nate Robinson. But my daddy wasn't in the NFL. I didn't have rich parents.
Yeah, my dad
like
worked.
Robinson. So when you say you came from the mud, you don't know shit about coming from the mud.
All right, Jake, you're right.
Thank you.
Right.
Once again.
Right.
At least you can admit to it.
No,
At least you
I'm
can
not
admit
admitting to
to
that,
it,
bro. I'm not admitting to that. You don't know nothing.
You just said I'm right, but then you're saying you're not admitting to it.
You're an idiot, bro.
All right, guys. That was tremendous stuff. I appreciate it. We do have a couple of fan questions before we let you go. Let's go to... Okay, no fan questions. All right, no fan questions, guys. You did so well that we don't need any fan questions anymore.
Good. They want to take me off air.
Why is that? I don't know why it is. You did a tremendous
I
stuff.
think I'm too lit.
Nah.
You're too hot for this presser. Guys, I want to wish you the best, and I can't wait. November 28th. Jake Paul, Nate Robinson, thank you so much.
Bye-bye, baby Nate. Bye-bye. Love you, Ariel.
Square.
Thank you, Jake. There he is, Jake Paul and the one and only Nate Robinson. Coming up next, it is the main event. It is Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. We'll be hearing from both of these men. Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Who would have thought earlier this year we'd be talking about these two guys fighting, but they are fighting on November 28th live on pay-per-view, live on TysonOnTriller.com. For more on this matchup, let's throw to my main man, Eric, the hip-hop preacher Thomas, to set it all up.
Saturday, November 28th, live on pay-per-view. Triller presents Tyson versus Jones.
All right, if you don't get goosebumps watching that, I don't know if you have a pulse. Look at this. We've got two of the greatest athletes of all time, two of the greatest boxers of all time, the baddest man on the planet, the one and only Mike Tyson, and Mr. Y'all must have forgot himself, the one and only Roy Jones Jr. Again, they do battle for the very first time on November 28th, live on TysonOnTriller.com. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. This is very exciting stuff and somewhat surreal, if I'm being honest, as a longtime fight fan. Mike, I'll start with you. I think the biggest question that everyone wants to know the answer to is why? Why at 54 years young? Why after you fought over 15 years ago, your last fight? Why are you coming back now?
Listen, I just feel magnificent. I've been training. Someone gave me a proposition to come fight, I believe it was Bob Sapp. And at first I said, hey, forget that, I don't want to fight nobody. Then a light bulb went off in my head and said, Bing, what kind of rules would he like to fight? And I said, would he box me? I'm the Marcus Greenberg. And then they called me, said yes. And then it went from him to someone else, and then from Shannon Briggs to someone else. And now I know I'm sitting here, I'm fighting Roy.
And yes, you are fighting Roy, and he's the biggest name of all those names that you just mentioned. Roy, when you were offered this fight against Mike Tyson, what was your initial reaction?
I mean, how can you say at a time when we're going through COVID, we got everything that everybody's faced with adversity right now. So while everybody's faced with adversity, you want to be a person who gives them something to look forward to, right? So when you get the biggest adversity to ever knock on your front door, to ring your phone, how can you say no?
November 28th at the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. First up, as far as media questions are concerned, let's go to Gene Wang of the Washington Post. Gene, you're up.
Hey, Mike. Wanted to ask you about your last fight, which was in Washington.
Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, man. It's called Zyron.
What do you recall from that night? Not so much the fight itself, but kind of the aftermath of that fight. As you're leaving the ring, kind of what was going through your mind at that point, and your future.
I was happy to leave the ring, man. I dread even being in the ring at that time. I was fighting just for financial purposes and stuff. I was on a whole different. I was on drugs back then. I was a whole different person back then. You know, I have the desire to do this now and the will to do this now. And that guy that was in Washington D.C., he was just a ghost of me. I'm just ready to do this stuff, and I'm feeling really great. And I don't want to. I want the world to see how great I look.
Just Mike training at the plate. Some viral footage of Mike that has surfaced, and if so, what do you think of how he looks?
Who, me?
Yeah, to you, Roy.
Oh yeah, I think he looked awesome. I mean, he looked very good. I was very proud to see him be able to bounce back the way he did, because most guys at 54, they start counting themselves out. And you got to think about boxing. When I came along at 32 years old, you were considered an old guy. You couldn't box no more. Now to see Mike be able to hit the pads and hit the body bag the way he's doing it, I mean, it's phenomenal. It's crazy. But we're freaks. That's why this is such a big thing. We're two of the most explosive guys to ever touch a boxing ring. At 54, I would watch him beat the mitts and the bag more rather than any other young guy right now, because it's so exciting. And at 51, I'm so fast that people are looking at it saying they got to be speeding this up. No, they're not. But when you got two legends like that, how can you not get right? He inspires me just by how hard he's working and how much he's preparing to get back in the ring. And he's 3 years older than me. So if he can do it, why can't I? I know I'm smaller, but that's what it is.
Harder than anything.
Exactly.
All right, next up, we'll go to Stephen Keating of Reuters. Stephen, you're up. Stephen, are you there? Stephen, you have to unmute.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, Stephen.
Hey, Roy, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to ask, how did you, knowing that you're going against Mike Tyson, knowing what's at stake, knowing that you're fighting 8 rounds with the 12-ounce gloves, do you still prepare with that same intensity that you did back in the day? Do you still train with that same intensity that you did back in the day?
Honestly, you have to be a fool not to. You go in the ring with one of the most dangerous men to ever grace the boxing ring. How could you go in there with 12-ounce gloves on, which is only 2 ounces bigger than what you normally fight in? You got 12-ounce gloves, you know, with one of the hardest punches in boxing history. The youngest heavyweight champ of all time. And you're going to not prepare to your utmost intensity? Are you crazy? It should be even better or higher than your last time or your most intense times were, because this is a bigger situation.
All right, Stephen, thank you very much for the question. Let's go to my good friend Andres Ferrari of ESPN. Andres, you're up.
Thanks, Ariel. For both of you guys, how do you train for this fight compared to what's the biggest difference for training for this fight than when you were training for when you were actively fighting in the sport? And are you doing any sparring before you go in the ring?
I'll be first. Yes, I look at films of Roy when he's at his best, because that's the guy that I anticipate fighting him. I anticipate fighting him at his best. And I'm in the best of shape. And yes, I'm boxed up to 7 rounds so far. And it keeps improving. And I'm boxing younger guys and hungry guys. And they're ensuring me that from the looks of things, I'm doing very well. So I'm looking really forward to this. And this is going to be something from I look at this, I also do this from a charity perspective. So many people are going to benefit from this fight besides the fighters.
Roy, do you want to answer that?
What the question was again?
It was just, how are you preparing for the fight? And are you sparring?
Well, I prepare like I prepare for any other fight, because it's like you fighting the great Mike Tyson. How can you not be prepared for that? Secondly, yes, I'm sparring. You better be sparring. I mean, how you gonna be able to dodge punches if you're not getting them thrown at you not in training? So it'd be stupid to not spar when you're fighting the hardest punch you probably ever gonna face in your life. How could you not spar? You better be getting sparring and getting ready, and the guys you spar with better understand that you're sparring.
All right, next up, Manuk of the Los Angeles Times. Manuk, you're up.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking the time with the press conference today. I actually spoke with California State Athletic Commissioner Andy Foster, and he described this fight as a straight exhibition, going to be hard sparring. This question is for both Mike and Roy. How do you guys plan on engaging in this fight, knowing that it can't be a real fight because it's Ray Corona's job to separate you guys as soon as it gets heated?
Listen, I don't know what are you talking about? What's not a real fight? You got Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, and I'm coming to fight, and I hope he's coming to fight, and that's all you need to know.
First of all, if you think you can go in the ring with Mike Tyson, the last guy that did an exhibition with Mike got dropped in the first round. And if you don't know that, then there's something wrong with you. So who goes in the ring with the great legendary Mike Tyson and think, oh, this is an exhibition? 12-ounce gloves? No headgear? Really? This is an exhibition? Come on, bro. Be for real.
All right, up next, Ollie Salt of the Daily Star. Ollie, you're up.
I've got a question for Mike. Mike, given you're obviously considered the puncher in this fight, were you disappointed when it was changed to 2-minute rounds?
Absolutely. I'm sure they have their reasons for doing it, but The women fight 2 minutes. But I have to understand, this is bigger than me. They have the charity exponent, and it's not all about me. So I guess the commissioner has more of an input than I do, so who am I to talk? I'm just happy that we're doing it.
How you feel about that, Roy? That they
I wasn't happy. I'm not happy at all. Like you said, I'm not happy at all. That's for women. I kept fighting to the last minute. I'm like, why are we doing 2 minute rounds? I don't understand that. We're not women. We two are the best to ever do it. Why we gotta go 2 minute rounds? I mean, why? We can't. If something happens, it's gonna happen anyway. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, it don't really matter. So for us, what difference does it make? Why cut it to 2 minutes? 2 minutes doesn't do anything for him nor me, to be honest with you. It cheats the fans out of it because that's their excitement. That gives us a little more time to get a little bit more fatigue to set up a little bit better shot than we probably set up in 2 minutes. So to me, it was all advantageous for everybody to keep it 3 minutes. But like you said, it's supposed to be a exhibition, charity event. Okay.
All right, up next, the legend, Kevin Ioli of Yahoo Sports. Kevin, you're up.
Thank you, Ariel. Question for Mike. Mike, how long has it been since you last felt as good as you do right now? And do you feel like you have to make any concessions to your...
Mike Tyson's going to win.
Hey, listen, I don't know. The last time I was 215 pounds, I believe I was, 18 or 17 years old. So I'm really happy with everything that I've been doing. And it's just total confidence and self-affirmation that man, it's just amazing. I'm just ready to do this stuff. Can't even explain it with words. I'm just ready to do this stuff.
Mike, I know you say that, when you get ready for a fight, you go to a different place, a different person starts to come out. Do you feel like that person is starting to come out again?
Absolutely. I can't even stay with my, the next 30 days, it'll be impossible for me to stay with my family. There's no way for them to live with me. They'll kick me out the house.
So is this a one-off for you, Mike? Or are you planning on several fights? Is this like the restart of a new chapter?
This is an organization. This is for the Legends Leagues only. So this is, I'm going to go as long as the league is working. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to help a lot of people. And my legend is going to be that I gave a lot more than I took.
Sorry about that. Roy, what about you? Is this a one and done, or do you plan on continuing to go after this fight?
I mean, for me, I usually judge about how I feel that night. I really wasn't planning on going anymore. I thought I was done. But when you get a call from Mike Tyson, see him say, hey, Mike want to fight you, that's bucket list material. You feel me? I mean, you can't turn. That's something that, everywhere I go in life, the first thing a young kid would ask me, hey, have you ever fought Mike Tyson? And I don't know why they used to always ask me that, but they say, kids, first question is, have you ever fought Mike Tyson? Now I don't have to say no more. I'm so glad to get this opportunity because now I can say, yes, I did. I sure did.
And that will happen.
And guess what? 20 and 28, you'll see how it goes.
Yes, November 28th at the Staples Center. Okay, Kelsey McCarson of Heavy and Bleacher Report, you're up.
Thanks, Alani. Mike and Roy, this is actually for both of you guys. Floyd Mayweather had an epic rant about there's too many sanctioning belts, too many sanctioning bodies involved in boxing. So I'm wondering why you two guys, two of the biggest stars in the sport, are involving the WBC, and so like why involve them at all, or any of the alphabet organizations? Why is that important?
First of all, I don't give a damn what nobody say. It ain't got to do with me. I don't give a damn what none of them say. I do what I do. My business is my business. I don't care what he and nobody else say. This ain't got nothing to do with him. So if he's still with his thing, do what he do, let me do what I do. Secondly, when I was fighting, I wasn't like them. I wouldn't have got every belt possible that I could get in my weight class at the time. And Mike did the same thing. We come from the old school. There wasn't no talk about we'll take this with. No. We want every belt you got. I don't care what kind of belt it is. It could be the Joe Pan seafood belt. I want that. I I don't care what it was. If you had a better my weight class in my prime, I wanted that. So right now, you think you want to see me perform, you put a belt on the line. I'm sorry, but it's like drugs. I just can't say no. You offer me a title, you got me, baby. We got to do it now. So it don't mean nothing to people like him, maybe, but it meant the world to me.
And he said it all. It's like drugs.
All right, next up, Steven Jorgensen of Sport Build. Steven, you're up.
Yeah, thank you very much. This one's for Mike. I wanted to ask you, you were known in the past as the baddest man on the planet, the world's most dangerous man. What is Mike Tyson like right now? Are you approaching that old self, that old Mike Tyson from the past?
Well, no. Mike Tyson is preparing to meet God eventually. But before he do, he has things that he wants to accomplish. And this exhibition is one of them.
All right, thank you for the question. By the way, Mike, can I ask you, I've seen you work with Rafael Cordero, the great MMA trainer. Will he be your head trainer going into this fight? And why did you pick him? Of all the coaches that you could choose, why did you choose an MMA coach to be your coach?
We choose him with my head coach, Billy White. But he's a great trainer. I'm so happy to have him in my corner. The energy that he possesses, it's such a winning idea to have him. Because he's all about winning. He's a great man. I love him so dearly. I have a great team of like family members' energy. It's just the family energy. We ready to go to war.
All right, next up, Aid of BBC. Aid, you're up.
Hi, Mike. When you walked away from boxing 15 years ago, you said it was because physically you couldn't perform at the level that you wanted anymore. How physical have your sparring sessions been, and what gives you the confidence that your body will respond the way you want it to respond on fight night?
Well, I'm the only boss. If you don't kick my ass, you're fired. So that's how the sparring's going. Everyone's doing their best, and if you're not doing your best to hit me, you have to go home. That's what sparring is. That's what fighting is all about. If I'm paying a guy to kick my ass, if he doesn't kick my ass, he has to go. He's fired.
All right, up next, Neil Barker of the AP. Neil, you're up.
Hello, gents. Nice to see you. Greetings from London. I just wondered, have the health implications of this fight crossed either of your minds? Obviously, there's lots of critics out there saying you guys shouldn't even be doing this. What precautions are you taking? How do you feel about it just weeks out now from this showdown?
Me and Roy Jones superseded the physical test on all the programs they gave us. So what did that tell you?
Roy, you want to jump in on that one, or just Mike?
What does that tell you?
All right, fair enough. Does it bother you? Does it bother?
You did it better than Youngboy.
Yes, I do want to remind people WBC is sanctioning this fight. Ray Corona is the referee. Yes, it is the 2-minute rounds, but no headgear, 12-ounce gloves to both men and to the WBC. It is considered a real fight, not a fake fight or something of that nature. Does it bother you, Mike, that people are implying that you guys will just do a friendly sparring match, that you're not going to go full steam ahead? Does that annoy you?
Well, no one I know think that. No one that supports me believes that. I don't believe they could even fight for that.
All right, let's go to Howie of the New York Post. Howie, you're up.
Hey guys, how's it going? For Mike and Roy, I'm curious. I mean, regardless of what happens next month, is there a curiosity between you guys? What would happen if you guys fought 20 years ago?
Well, we talked about that. I went out to Texas. He was in Texas, Houston at the time, and we talked about it, but it just never materialized.
All right, thank you very much to the media. We're actually going to get to one fan question here. Let's go to a young woman named Sarai, who has a little boxing background of her own. Sarai, you're up.
Hi, my name is Sarai Brownell.
I'm 15 years old. I'm a USA Boxing 12-time national champion. I'm also a part of the USA Junior High Performance team. And the question I wanted to ask Mike was, what is your mindset like when you're going in the ring? And what is your mindset going to be like when you get in the ring with Roy?
My mindset is totally bliss. This is something I've done all my life since I was 13 years old. I'm more evolved now than I've ever been. My objective is to go in there with the best intentions of my life to, to disable my opponent. And that's just what it is.
All right, thank you very much to Sarai, and thank you very much to Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Guys, again, it is surreal to see you sitting here in front of us. We are less than a month away, November 28th on TysonOnTriller.com, and also all over the world on pay-per-view. It's going down from the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. It's a heavyweight fight sanctioned by the WBC, and no headgear, no rules stopping these two from going full force. We will see who the better man is, the 54-year-old Mike Tyson or the 51-year-old Roy Jones Jr. Thank you so much for the time, guys, and best of luck to you in the final month of training.
Thank you.
All the best. There they are, the one and only Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Again, November 28th, live on pay-per-view. Tyson versus Jones. Who would have thunk it? But it's going down in less than a month. Also, Jake Paul, Nate Robinson, Blake McKernan, Badou Jack, and Vidal Riley, and Rashad Coulter. Again, November 28th from the Staples Center, 9 p.m. Eastern. TysonOnTriller.com. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. Thank you very much to the media. And, of course, thank you to all the fighters. We'll talk to you soon.
True enemy of us all. Time kills everything.
Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones.
You recording that?
Yep.
That's why I have all the sound in it.
You can't edit it.
Like marketing. Undercards, underscore.
What are you talking about, baby? You waiting for the fight too? Tyson versus Roy Jones. Tyson versus Roy Jones. Mama.
live from Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles, and tonight is not like any night at the fights you've ever seen before. We have two legends, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., years after they hung up the gloves, squaring off in the ring for the first time in their careers. Tyson versus Jones is presented by Triller, the most culturally relevant app today with over 200 million downloads. Triller brings together the biggest names in music, social media, sports, and culture. Bottom line, TikTok is for kids. Go to the App Store right now and download Triller. Tonight is the double comeback fans have talked about for decades. The former undisputed heavyweight champion of the world taking on a 4-division champion in an 8-round exhibition. It's Iron Mike versus cap to $10,000. Triller and Acorns have teamed up with Project Hope to support our heroes on the front lines in the fight against COVID-19 by providing health care for the workers and the personnel, protective equipment, and training they need to heal their communities. So when you sign up during tonight's event, not only will you become an investor and support our frontline workers, but you'll automatically be entered to win a $10,000 investment. So what are you waiting for? All right. Well, it's time now for our first fight of the night. A featherweight matchup scheduled for 8 rounds featuring Irving Gonzalez taking on Edward Vasquez. And with a call, let's throw it back to Mauro, Ray, and Israel.
All right, let's take a look at the tale of the tape presented by Weight Maps. And in this featherweight matchup, both are very young. 24-year-old Gonzalez against the 25-year-old Vasquez. And it will be Gonzalez with a 2-inch reach advantage, both of them coming underneath the 126-pound featherweight limit. Here's ring announcer Barry Egan.
Los Angeles, here we go. This bout is scheduled for 8 rounds in the featherweight division and will be for the vacant WBC US NBC title. The man in charge of the action once the bell sounds, Mr. Raul Caiz Sr. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner to my right, wearing the white chucks with the gold trim, he weighed in at 125.4 pounds. He is undefeated, 8 wins, no defeats, 1 KO out of Fort Worth, Texas. Here is Edward Kid Vasquez. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner to my left, wearing the silver trunks, he weighed in at 124.8 pounds. He has a professional record of 14 wins, only 2 defeats, 11 big wins by way of knockout. From Worcester, Massachusetts, here is Irving Gonzalez.
Don't stare at them. Remember, the bunches here are fine. Shake hands and good luck to both of you. Vasquez, mouthpiece. Gonzalez, mouthpiece. Ready? Ready?
So we are set, scheduled for 6 rounds in the featherweight division. Or 8 rounds, excuse me, in the featherweight division. Gonzalez against Vasquez. Vasquez undefeated at 8-0, but just 1 knockout. Gonzalez 14-2. He's got pop, Israel. He has 11 KOs.
Yeah, he does. He seems like he's a little bit more experienced already. The taller fighter trying to establish his range. There he goes with that jab again.
And one thing I like already is the use of the jab. That's one of the main factors, main weapons to have. And the left hook.
And they're power jabs.
Don't hit him with the backhand.
Vasquez really sticking the jab to Gonzalez. Some feinting, and Israel, of course, you're involved in mixed martial arts, but you were a boxer and kickboxer, and what do you think of the body language, the body movements thus far?
100%. What you just said, they're feinting. It surprises me still, even at the highest level of MMA, how many fighters fail to feint, especially being disciplined with it as the fight gets into the later rounds. You have to be disciplined with your feints and your looks. And there goes Vasquez with the combo.
I mean, both guys have great combinations. They really execute the proper punches. Good right hand.
What a right hand there.
Oh, came back with the left hook.
And Gonzalez putting together some pretty good combinations, throwing punches and bunches, and Ray digging to the body.
You want him right there.
What a right uppercut. What a shin by Vasquez.
I was about to say they both are punching with conviction.
And by the way, Vasquez made an insane comeback after a brutal knockdown, so he has stout whiskers, but can he endure this barrage from Gonzalez?
Yeah, definitely. We have 8 rounds to find out.
What about that punch placement, Israel?
Yeah, I see what he's doing there. They're trying to go to the body just to get the middle open, both of them, and they're kind of gunslinging at the moment, like two cowboys gunslinging in the Wild Wild West, and someone is going to fall. So far, Vasquez hasn't taken a knee, even though he got rocked with that right uppercut, but man, they got that power, the Mexicano, man.
And Ray, the combinations, the speed, you know a thing or two about speed and combinations.
Speed nullifies everything, and the body shots. The body shots are beautiful. The left hooks also is a great shot.
An incredible opening round here. The action, a pitched battle between Gonzalez and Vasquez. Hopefully a sign of things to come tonight on pay-per-view. Nice lead left hook there by Gonzalez. So this is what the 126-pound division offers up. Speed, technique, and a little bit of pop.
Oh, great round.
Great round, definitely. And my scorecard, that first round goes to Ivan Gonzalez. He controlled the pace of the fight. He imposed his will a little bit more. And yeah, he's got this first round in the bag. But he's gonna...
That's it. Take a deep breath. Keep working your jab. Once you get inside the chest, start working on more. Pick it up more, okay? All right? Keep your hands up. Every time you're coming out, keep your hands up, okay? There we go.
Check.
Good job, good job. Take a deep breath, deep breath. Keep popping the jab. Keep moving that head. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're doing good, baby. You're doing good. Once you have that chest, start working that body. Start breaking that body.
Once you land, you gotta step out or take your hand to take that away from my hand, right? And don't forget, you start on top and you start on fast. Termina abajo duro, ¿ok? Empieza abajo. Relax, you got the worst round over with. Okay? Marcus, second round.
The bell and round 2. Vasquez campaigning for the first time in a fight scheduled for 8 rounds, and he comes out aggressive, taking the fight to Gonzalez, but Gonzalez able to counter. Oh, what a lead right, left uppercut by Vasquez.
And one thing I'm really pumped up about is the fact that normally you take a kind of a fill out process. These guys went at it both hands.
Israel, you have fought in front of no crowd. You say you enjoy it, and tonight you are hearing all of the snap, crackle, and pop as we put the real and surreal. But these two guys are bringing it, chucking punches and bunches.
Yeah, man, it gets very, very intimate when there's no crowd. You get to feel the energy of the other guy a lot more without the influence of a drunk crowd. You get to hear the pop in those punches exactly where they're placed, and even the way they're breathing. You can hear your other guy breathing heavily. You can tell when he's getting tired. It's a whole different game when there's no crowd. I love it.
Ray, they are still very much in the embryonic stages of their pro career.
Nice right hand.
Bringing the power, Vasquez with the right and left. Incredible technique, incredible punch placement, Ray.
And who's going to win or get knocked down is the guy who's throwing more than one punch. With the left hook, the right hand should come.
I know they're in the featherweight division, Israel, but are you surprised that no one has gone down yet?
Not yet, man. I'm telling you, with names like Gonzalez and Vasquez, you know, they got the chins on them, man. They got the chins, and I know that firsthand.
And they've also been attacking the body like it's filled with candy, and it's the hunter. Vasquez coming forward. Thank you, Izzy.
That was good, like a piano reference.
You might get a few in tonight, my man.
Oh, man, bring the puns, baby. I'm about the puns and the dad jokes. Let's
60
go.
60 seconds, baby. Well, what a night bringing hip-hop and boxing together, and we will be joined by hip-hop royalty Snoop Dogg for the next episode in the legendary careers of Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., but it's Vasquez and Gonzalez looking to take advantage of this stage, Ray, under the bright lights of this unique event.
This is amazing. For these guys here, this is big time. Get so pumped up.
I'm really impressed with their cardio so far because for so much output, for so punches. Both of them are still right there. They might take a little break here and there, but they're still right there firing.
Gonzalez almost looking, well, yeah, in that shoulder roll position, but with the reach advantage, double pumping the jab, really setting up his offense well, while Vasquez, the smaller fighter, but he is compact and he is bringing it, not really setting up the punches, but leading with a lot of power shots. Israel. Terrific stuff through 2 rounds. Israel, how do you have it? Lots of action, lots of things to like about this fight.
Man, I'll tell you, Edward Vasquez came back in that round. There was still a bit of a shootout, a sling out, but he came back in that round and showed some cojones. Especially after being rocked in the first round with that uppercut.
Keep tagging that body. We got 8 rounds, baby. We're coming. Pick it up every round. We got to pick it up just like that. You picked it up in the second, now we're picking up in the third now.
Yes, sir. All right, cool, no worries.
That was good. Good round, good round.
Got it.
Keep tagging that jab. Stay the pot on him. Stay the pot. So he was trying to figure that out. You can't do it. Keep that up, baby. That overhand right landed. It's going to be there for you, okay?
Here's Vasquez feinting the jab, went with the left hook, and then the right hand. Beautiful. See the way he just feinted that jab, and then came back with the hook again, a power hook. Beautiful. Look at it, feinted it. Well, missed the feint, but he got the hook, and then landed the right hand. But look at the left hook that comes back. Boom. And he's still right there, man. Gonzalez, I tell you, they got the chins on them.
Matchmakers knew what they were doing when they put Urban Gonzalez in against the undefeated Edward Vasquez, and again, no feeling out process. They are here to put on a show, and they must have known that they're taking place here in this free hour, Israel, and they really want to sell this event tonight with the sustained action.
And the tempo of these guys, I mean, they're throwing punches, big punches, strong punches, and not letting up.
And remember, only scheduled for 8 rounds, and that might have something to do with the pace and the way that they've come out, Israel.
Yeah, definitely. It's a shorter fight with 8 rounds. You have to start fast and start hard, and they've done just that.
And look at the numbers. Very similar, although Vasquez has the higher accuracy. Nice right uppercut by Gonzalez. And beautiful lead left hook to the body by Vasquez.
Another one. He's setting them up. He's setting them up. He's going to go up the top now. Oh, there he read that nicely. That was beautiful.
But the tempo of this fight, I mean, the fact of the pace, I mean, these guys are in tremendous shape.
Absolutely, and boy, their offense, I'm very impressed with their punch placement and really showing some good technique. I mean, they have plenty of experience in the amateur division. Gonzalez was a 2015 New England Golden Gloves champion, quarterfinalist of the Olympic trials. Is coming off a career-long layoff, although you wouldn't be able to tell. Look at that. 3-punch combination, all with the left hand.
For a tall fighter, Gonzalez is fighting very well inside as well for a guy with a longer reach.
Salient point. Thomas Hitman Hearns ready.
Absolutely. He used the height and reach advantage, but I mean, both guys, I'm very impressed with both fighters.
Coming up on the final 60 seconds of a torrid 3rd round, Gonzalez and Vasquez. Gonzalez looking to box now from long range, sticking the jab before delivering the 1-2.
Yeah, this is where I think boxing will take over, not just your youth or your vigor. Your smarts are going to take over in these later rounds, and when you start to get winded.
And I believe that Gonzalez, but man, hard shot. What a beautiful double left hook, and even showing some defense.
And with Vasquez, I mean, some of those left hooks are coming close, but not landing completely.
I wonder if Vasquez would try to get inside Ray and just, it's hard to do with the jab of Gonzalez. He can't navigate that minefield.
Yeah, he's doing a great job with fighting long with that jab, and then when he needs to, when he wants to, he steps inside and fights like an inside fighter.
The jab, simple, yet valuable.
And what they say, Ray, a jab will take you around the world?
Absolutely. Twice.
And everyone around the world will be watching with intrigue and curiosity tonight the return of the legends Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr.
You're landing the jab and it's getting you open. It's getting you open his feet. You just gotta let him go. That right hook, going off top, off to the bottom, look at double jab. Hold on. remember, listen, if we said you gotta move your head a little bit. Use your knee.
Big deep breath.
Yeah, you get low, boom, boom.
There you go, another
You
one.
understand? You gotta mix it up. Yeah, I mean, you gotta go from the chart so you can slow them down. You gotta get moving. You gotta hurry.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
Doesn't matter.
All right, the jab's what landing, so that's what the dangling opens. He's just not taking advantage of it.
I know.
All right?
Use that jab. Find your range. Use that jab. Keep him outside,
Hey.
right?
You got your second win, right?
Mouthpiece. Fourth round, guys.
This is round number 4, and Edward Vasquez, he's had his chin tested, as has Irvin Gonzalez, but Vasquez overcame a knockdown in his last fight to score a unanimous decision, so has the grit, has the resiliency, obviously has the heart and the skill. Wow.
Nice, good frame right there. After setting it up to the body, having a good frame just to exit. Beautiful technique.
The guys have great balance. That's why their punches land so solid.
Keep it going. And both of them really utilizing both hands adroitly.
Watch your feet, guys.
I love the way that Gonzalez is there, the double jab.
And one thing I just noticed about him as well, he switches, he's bistandral. He went southpaw for a second and then shifted back to orthodox.
And Ray, Vasquez almost walked into that left hook from Gonzalez. Oh, wow, 4-punch combination. And Gonzalez seems to have Vasquez rattled, but Vasquez continues to come forward and deliver a scoring combination of his own. Wow. Good movement. The punch stat, people are going to have carpal tunnel syndrome after this one.
They need a computer on this.
Just past now the midway point of another fantastic 4th round as Vasquez clips Gonzalez with a left hook upstairs, and Gonzalez avoids that right hand. What has impressed you most about Gonzalez's offense, Israel?
Yeah, like I said, the way he's able to fight like a long fighter with his jab and then go inside and fight like a short fighter. But just recently seeing him switch stances and be bistandral, that just opens up a lot more offense options for him, being able to hide his shots, his power hand.
Vasquez continues to dig to the body, but when he makes himself smaller, he's countered. Although now he has Gonzalez on the ropes, catches him with the right hand.
But you realize only 2 of those shots landed flush. Out of all of those, he was rolling with a lot of them.
So Gonzalez doing his best impression of Roy Jones Jr. in his fight.
Gonzalez needs to get off the ropes. Not too long. Don't be there too long. I mean, whatever he's doing now is right. Using his height and reach.
Oh, they are earning each other's respect. Again, the double jab by Gonzalez doesn't fire off the right hand, but keeps Vasquez from trying to get into the danger zone.
Hey, remember what I said at the top of the broadcast about feinting? You see, now we're in the halfway point of the fight. The feints and the looks are showing less and less, but this is where discipline, veteranship comes into play, and being disciplined enough to stick to those basics.
Wow, great round.
Wow,
they're trying to steal the round. They're trying to steal the round.
Wow.
Hold on there, let's go.
Oh, referee is not messing around.
Wait, what did he like?
He, I guess after the round, a little extracurricular.
Oh, okay, a little something, a little something.
The gave him a little extra.
They didn't hear the bell. It's loud in here.
Israel.
Yeah. Stay focused, okay? Listen, you gotta go here, right? But you go. Listen. You go into this fight with jab alone, okay? As long as you keep the distance. Really hold that distance. You gotta move your feet. You gotta move your hands a little more. Alright? Give him a different look. Listen, yes. Make sure you do that. Listen. Start with the jab. Stick it to the chest.
Sure, that's enough. Yeah.
Stick it to the chest.
I can do whatever you want.
Be smart. Don't fuck around. Okay, let's go.
So the referee dropping the F-bombs to begin Round 5, and it's, well, Gonzalez and Vasquez who are dropping the real bombs in this fight. One of the better bouts that I've called since coming back earlier this summer, but these two really looking to make a statement.
And again, I'm very impressed with what I see here with both fighters.
I mean, it's hard to criticize anything, maybe a little of the defense, but their footwork, their angles, their punch placement. What do you think, Israel?
Man, if this was the UFC and this was the first fight of the night, this would be fight of the night for one of the bonuses. I don't know if these guys are getting bonuses, but this fight already deserves a bonus, 100%.
This has a chance to be the fight of the year if this keeps up right.
You look at the shots, look at the combinations they're throwing, the bombs they're throwing, and they both weather the storm and come back with their own stuff.
They both continue to score more than they miss, but both of them having the heart of a lion.
And this is where Gonzalez, I feel, should get back to the middle of the ring. Like Ray said, stop resting on the ropes. Use your superior length, your head movement, and get back to the middle of the ring and control. Be the ring general, rather than just staying on the ropes and then letting the other guy tee off on you.
Yeah, Vasquez again working the body, the left hook downstairs, left hook upstairs. The longer, the lankier Gonzalez comes back and is able to put together a three-punch combination, digs to the body.
For a tall guy, he's got really good head movement, Gonzalez. He's able to duck one of those punches when he needs to.
Yeah, he began his career 12-0 before suffering back-to-back losses, including a TKO loss. 11 of his 14 wins have come via form of knockout. Vasquez again putting the work in on the body and then pops him in the nose with that right before Gonzalez fires back. My goodness!
When Vasquez throws a shot to the body, he should throw a shot to the head and that same shot to the body. A left hook. It's a great shot. Great combination.
Final 45 seconds. Vasquez, I gave the Roy Jones Jr. reference to Gonzalez. Vasquez with a mini Mike Tyson demonstration, coming in, bobbing and weaving, and again, the smaller man, he needs to get close.
And one thing I like about Gonzalez as well, he lures Vasquez into a false sense of security. He stays relaxed and he's slow, and then within a blink of an eye, he explodes with 5 different punches.
My goodness, more combinations that you would find on a safe here. It's incredible how Vasquez and Gonzalez continue to maintain this pace as they are landing some thudding blows.
Gonzalez.
Are you not entertained?
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
Beautiful round. You're walking him down. You're walking him down. He ain't got nothing, kid. He ain't got nothing. Do your thing, baby. Do your thing, but stay smart, all right? Stay smart like you're doing. You're doing a beautiful job. Just keep picking it up every round. Every round, stay on that body. Gotta stay on that body.
You can't be talking shit up. You gotta relax.
Was the ref just coaching him then?
All right, we are set later tonight to see a former two-division champion under Mayweather Promotions. Badou Jack the Ripper returns to action as he will take on a young upstart in Blake McKernan, who is well, we thank him for his service in the U.S. Army. He's undefeated. He has been talking the talk. He'll be walking the walk against his biggest challenge later tonight on pay-per-view.
Remember, no talking. No talking, all right? He's smart.
No talking. Leave the talking to Ray Leonard and Israel Adesanya. The referee not wanting.
No talking.
Vasquez and Gonzalez, they're doing enough talking with their gloves. I mean, they are putting their mitts on each other, and it is a thrill to watch. It really is.
I'm not a fan of that rule because I feel like talking is also part of a strategy for a fighter, so you can't tell the guy not to talk if they're still engaging.
Ask Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz, maybe even Israel Adesanya.
A little bit. Or like could be talking people when he fights them. It's a tactic, and it works very well if you know how to use it.
Well, Gonzalez knows how to use his jab, but so does Vasquez, as we just saw there.
I can look at these guys' legs and tell and determine how if they feel tired or weak. They do not, especially with the punches, the combinations they're throwing.
It is an incredible war.
Look at those shots.
As our friends in the UK would say, a tear-up as Vasquez and Gonzalez are tattooing each other.
Get your hand out, Gonzalez. Put your hand up here.
They're throwing bombs.
Stop pressing. Stop pressing. Don't push.
move.
Good jab. But you know, like, getting back to body shots, it's like a lost cause. I mean, very few fighters throw body shots. Like these guys are doing.
It's discipline. A lot of guys, like I said, where's the feints right now? Where's the looks? Because every time they move, you know they're going to throw a shot. So if you keep the feints up, if you keep the looks up, then you're able to still decept the other guy on when you're actually going to throw a shot.
Gonzalez, wow, what a leaping left there, and he tagged Gonzalez. Gonzalez always using his height and length to try to fight on the outside. Well, we see him stay aggressive on the inside, but he regularly outworks his opponents, throwing and landing more punches, but he is getting a serious test from the undefeated Edward Kid Vasquez. How do you have it right now, Israel? I know you have an unofficial scorecard, but
I was supposed to have an unofficial scorecard, but I don't.
It's too hard, right?
Yes. Crazy. So crazy. I can see Edwards, like I said, it's starting to come back with the looks. He's going high, going low. There he goes, showing the shoulder, letting them know, moving the head. See that? He's able to read. He's able to draw the attacks out when you do things like that. That's discipline.
And while so many fighters have had the longest layoffs of their career due to COVID, we have Vasquez in his second fight in 84 days, and that engine is purring.
I love it when that happens, when you just fought and you're fresh off of camp, and then you get right back into it, and then you just with the momentum. Momentum is a powerful force in this game.
Stop! I'm gonna break you guys. Take a deep breath. Vasquez is doing everything. He's not doing the same old thing. And like I tell most fighters, don't repeat the punches.
Unless it's working.
Unless it's working. Exactly.
And that left hand by Gonzalez at the end of the round was working, putting an exclamation point on the proceedings with that left hook to the body.
1 and 7. These are big rounds right here. How you feel? Good. Take a deep breath. Take a little sip. Take a little sip. Take a deep breath right here, baby. The time, 7 and 8 right here. So let's get on his chest, all right? Let's stay at him right here. Okay, hitting that body. Stay on him right there. Every time you have available time, let's get it. Overhand right, landing every time you get it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Doing good. Let's finish these rounds strong, baby. Championship round. These are championship rounds.
Going to 7. I love it. Look at that. At the last second, right at the bell, he looks at it, feels the shot, and then goes for the body. Boom. We're right there. Also, he missed the right hand as well. Good way to turn that around. He missed the right hand and used that momentum to swing for the body. That was beautiful.
Israel, what about the effects of those body shots? I know more and more in MMA we're beginning to see the sustained attack. What is the effects?
I've had that landed on me, not really in a fight yet, but in sparring with Doug Viney and a few of my teammates a few times. And what it does is an involuntary body response that shuts down the whole system. Your whole system decides, okay, this is not good, let's turn off the shot. And then everything just shuts down.
But you know the thing about body shots, I mean, that was my bread and butter too. Especially when I fought Tommy Hearn.
Yes.
Went to the body to bring those hands down.
And that's what Vasquez is doing against the bigger Gonzalez. But what a firefight. What a pitched battle. And tonight we do celebrate hip-hop. These two are hitting each other as hard as Tupac's hit them up, Israel.
Hey, let's go.
This is exciting boxing, guys. This is it.
High-level boxing.
High level.
Exactly.
Yeah. High level, high art.
Oh, that's not shot.
The beauty and the brutality of the sweet science. Irvin Gonzalez and Edward Vasquez looking to steal the show before the official show even starts.
Is that a fake crowd out here? Oh, thank you.
We got to sweeten the sound because we got the sweetness Sugar Ray Leonard.
I'm looking here at these guys, incredible fighters, young fighters, future champions, and I say, no, I don't want to come back.
Well, Vasquez and Gonzalez keep coming back with an incredible output. Israel, the pace again, 126 pounds. Obviously, you're going to have more condition than a heavyweight. But what about this tempo?
I'm telling you, man, the second to last round, and they're still there. Looking at me, just fainted, still disciplined. Beautiful for both guys. They came in here in shape. I could tell already when I looked at Edward Vasquez by his body, he came in good nick. But Gonzalez Gonzalez has already shown us he can match him with his pace.
And of course, we've seen Gonzalez with that long range, that telephone pole jab, and then Vasquez using some footwork to lead with the left hand. We've seen Gonzalez switch stances, lead with hooks, uppercuts, and of course, the all-important feinting ring.
And no one is dominating. They throw some great shots, but no one is dominating.
Exactly, they're both trying to assert themselves, and when I say feinting, Israel, there's been some, but both these two may faint at the end of this fight with the amount of energy they're expending.
Yeah, 100%. Even look at Gonzalez. I like his angles, especially off the ropes. That was nice to get off the rope right there.
And Vasquez continues to dig away at the body, both of them with short right uppercuts. You have seen everything, and maybe there's a kitchen sink that they can put in the ring in the 8th and final round.
Oh my gosh. Woo.
Right here. That's him. Right there. Hey, we're going all out, but being smart, all right? Let's be smart, all right? All out right here at his chest. Let's stay at his chest this whole round right here, baby. Let's give him work, all right? Once he throws his little 4 punches, 5 punches, he's done. After that, he's done. That's when you need to jump on him, baby. Come on. All of it. That's what this round is for.
The last round, don't work, okay? Only thing I want you to do a little more video, a little chop. Don't sit on the floor for that sake, okay? Let him get back in that fucking round, right?
Everything's good.
Alright? Now don't get careless, though. Don't go throwing wide, sharp, or hold nice tight palm. Boom, boom, boom. Take a step. Keep them on the outside. Alright? Second round. Come on, brother. Come on, people.
I have a feeling this is going to be a great 8. What more do they have in store?
Keep your heads away from each other. Give me a second. Let me pick this up over here.
I appreciate the referee trying to maintain law and order, but let these guys fight.
Let them bang, bro. Let them bang.
Vasquez is doing just that, but Gonzalez momentarily along the ropes. Veteran move. They're putting his weight on Vasquez, but Vasquez, beautiful turn is right.
Yes. Like a matador. They know right now they have less than 3 minutes to glory. Less than 3 minutes. It's still anyone's fight because anyone can get knocked out right here.
And neither fighter's letting up. They're really going at it aggressively. Both hands on combinations.
And they continue to throw with power. Stiff jab splits the guard by Vasquez. Ducks underneath that. And again attacking the body, Israel.
Yeah, you have to still stay disciplined and attack the body. Because you can't, a lot of people, especially at this level, they get head hungry and start head hunting. But that's easy to finish on when you do that. You're able to read them in the
Beautiful left cross from the southpaw position. Gonzalez, Ray, Leno, you were part of the Fistle's 4 Kings. How about this fight, my friend?
I tell you, I'm so excited about these guys, the way they execute their punches, particularly body shots. And I was like a teacher, a professor in boxing. These guys get an A in my class.
Israel is a play-by-play announcer. At times, maybe we oversell shots, but tonight, this fight is delivering on all facets.
100%. They're definitely imposing their will on each other.
Wow! And the amount of punishment they can absorb.
Great chins. Great chins.
Treating each other like crash-tested dummies. 126 pounds. Irvin Gonzalez at 14-2. With 11 KOs, Edward Kid Vasquez undefeated at 8-0.
And there is no quit in either fight.
And they continue to bring it.
Down to the last minute. Here it is.
I mean, these guys are throwing shots, punches.
Incredible combinations. Counter left hook by Vasquez.
He's just eating them. I think at this point, the adrenaline's still running and you don't really care too much, so you can take some shots.
Vasquez short right uppercut, then goes with the right left hook. There's a left cross.
I wouldn't advise taking shots though, but...
Well, Vasquez has only 1 knockout in his 8 fights. It's obviously able to sustain these shots, but the way the fight started is the way it's going to end.
Absolutely.
And on this, the most unique night in boxing, we are starting with a fight of the year candidate between Irvin Gonzalez and Edward Vasquez. Standing ovation.
Beautiful. That was a beautiful fight.
They deserve a standing ovation.
Well, I'm standing at least. I'll be the one.
Fight of the night bonus already. Fight of the night bonus. Give them 50K.
You know a few. You know about those.
I got a few of my times. Performing of the night, you know.
But also, let's not bury the headline here, you guys. What a terrific start. Ray, I mean, it was virtuosic at times in terms of technique and placement. I loved what we saw.
Well, again, they both threw combinations. They both took incredible shots. And they maintained the tempo.
Yeah, one thing I love is the heart they both showed, especially from Vasquez, from getting rocked in the first round. He didn't show no quit. He didn't show no signs of slowing down. He stayed in there with the fight, and they gave it his best as well. So credit to both fighters for their heart. You can't teach that.
All right, let's look at the punch stats. I don't know how the team did it, keeping up with what we saw, but over 1,000. Look at that, 545. No way. Virtually identical. It was Vasquez, the shorter fighter, landing more on the inside, 177 to 130. Had the higher percentage rate, but come on. If there is any fight in which they were fighting like a dentist and a carpenter, it was this one. Tooth and nail, Ray.
Woo. Well said. Well said. Tooth and nail.
And we await the official decision. No losers in this one tonight.
No.
I don't believe so. The way these guys fought, they put everything on the line. They put everything on the line. Their cojones, their heart.
What about technique? You're one of the best pound-for-pound combat sports athletes in the world. What did you think about the technique?
What I loved is that they stayed disciplined right the way through to the last round. You know, there was a few wild punches here and there, but you have that. In any fight, you're going to have that.
And it makes it entertaining.
And it does, but they stayed disciplined, and I commend them for that. Good job to both of them for staying disciplined.
Did I mention Gonzalez is only 24, Vasquez is 25, so entering the prime and getting things started with a fantastic featherweight fight.
From Palmer, Texas, baby. Yes.
And I'm not surprised there's a bit of delay, Ray, because this one is going to be tough to score.
Let's give it a draw.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's give it a draw.
Forward, Texas, right.
All right, let's make it official. Here is ring announcer Barry Egan.
Los Angeles, what a way to start the evening. Toe-to-toe the entire way. Let's hear it for these two valiant warriors. Los Angeles, to the scorecards we go. Judge Jerry Cantu scores the bout 77-75 Vasquez. Judge Jonathan Davis scores the bout 77-75 Gonzalez. And Judge Rudy Barragan scores the bout 77-75 for the winner by way of split decision. And still undefeated, USNBC featherweight champion, Edward Kid Vasquez.
Not really surprised it was a split decision. Edward Vasquez improving to 9-0, but a sterling effort by Irvin Gonzalez. And if you recall, Rafael Marquez and Israel Vasquez, a legendary trilogy they did well. Edward Vasquez and Irvin Gonzalez gave them a run for their money.
They will be better fighters after this fight.
All right, Mario, what a start, my friend.
What a start indeed. Hell of a fight to kick off the night. Close fight the way it started. I didn't think we'd see the end bell ringing, but congratulations to both men. Well, there's still time to buy tonight's pay-per-view, ladies and gentlemen. We've got performances from Snoop Dogg, St. John, YG, Wiz Khalifa, and Neo. A 3-fight undercard headlined by the matchup that's blowing up social media right now. YouTube star Jake Paul and 3-time NBA Slam Dunk champion Nate Robinson. And it all leads up to our main event, Tyson versus Jones.
Really deep down inside, in our subconscious, this stuff that we're doing is worth dying for. So this is what we're made to do. This is worth dying for.
What's unique about Mike as a heavyweight is his speed and his power. Roy knows that.
Mike is deadly dangerous the whole time he's on 2 feet. You gotta be willing to get up every morning
5 o'clock, hit that road.
You're going to have that extra motivation. You know what it's called? Fear.
Mike Tyson has won it.
You worry about Roy getting knocked out?
No. When I talk about him fighting Mike Tyson, I believe Roy would be in his prime. People don't understand, not only am I a good boxer, I can fight too. I just didn't have to do that much in my career. They don't even know that part of me exists because I never had to use it. This time, I'll probably be forced to use some of it that I never had to use because you deal with a much bigger man, a much bigger specimen.
That's right.
Roy Jones. Mention that name and you're going to talk about excellence. Mention that name, you talk about a champion. Mention that name, everybody knows that pound for pound, he was considered for a long period of time best person in boxing. He had the moniker of pound for pound the greatest fighter in boxing. So you have a dangerous fighter, you have a smart fighter.
Some of the tools that we're going to use, I'm going to keep hush-hush. I know it's going to put a monkey wrench in anything that they're going to try to do. It's really going to give them a lot of trouble. And like I said, without giving up too much.
We got to seek and destroy because he's not going to stand still and slug it out with Mike. And, he's going to run like a thief. Fighters get in there and they run around like a thief. The bottom line is Mike will seek and destroy.
My mentality is just what it's always been. I'm an annihilator.
Fucking look at
I mean, he's going to bring the pressure. I mean, what other way does he fight? He's going to bring the pressure. He's not going to try to outbox Roy.
Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than that.
Roy has to be the matador, but, in this fight, like I said, Matador has a cape, but Roy has dynamite in his hands. Everybody talks about Mike's knockout power. Roy has more knockouts than Mike Tyson. I mean, Mike is not coming and putting pressure on a guy that can't hurt him as well. Roy's got multi-dimensions to be able to deal with Mike.
No, son. Preparation's been very difficult. Staying focused is even harder. Kids, some fighters you're training, you have everything going on around you. It's very difficult to focus, but you must somehow. When you find a way to focus, you gotta learn how to find a way to stay focused. Because focusing is one thing, but staying focused is another. What better element to make me hold my focus than Mike Tyson?
If two fighters getting in the ring, two champions, nobody's going to lay down. Nobody's going to roll over. Nobody's going to let the other person look better. Two fighters that are highly competitive, both of them have egos.
Everybody knows.
Both of them are going to prove that they are champions.
Roy Jones is pound for pound one of the all-time greats. He presents major trouble, major problems.
It's obvious I'm not a sucker and that I'm capable of doing really bad things to people if they upset me.
Roy beat Mike Tyson. When he beat John Ruiz, I knew then he could have beat any of them other heavyweights. They knew it.
It's astounding to me to see.
I'm looking at Roy training like he was training for Mike Taylor, Thomas Tate. I see that look again. Focus, moving well. I mean, we got a game plan.
It's just a trip getting your ass kicked.
Like somebody coming to take his title.
November 28th, Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. Live, pay-per-view, baby. Watch it. Be there.
Well, we've graduated from the hard work, hitting the bag, doing the pad work. He's at one with Coach Raphael. It's all becoming second nature. This is the final stage in preparation towards building towards fight night.
It escalates. Somebody lands a punch, a snapping jab. Somebody lands a punch with a little bit bad intention on it. All of a sudden it starts escalating, and next thing you know, you've got a full-blown fight happening.
It's going to be a lot more heated and a lot more substance.
And we have a boxer like Roy Jones. You have to be prepared to sustain it from beginning to end.
I got Uncle Mike.
That's what we're going to do with Mike.
I'm back.
And Mike's going to have excellence that is going to bring the best out of both fighters. It's going to be a thrilling, exciting fight.
4, 3.
Well, Jim, both fighters look really well prepared for the fight. They came in, Tyson, I believe, at 220 and Roy at 210. They're about the same height, completely different styles with the way they fight. How do you see those styles and the time off, considering with both fighters, playing out tonight?
Well, Mike Tyson hasn't won a meaningful fight in a couple of decades, and he quit the last time he fought 15 years ago. And it's kind of hard to tell two guys who participated at this level to go participate now in an exhibition when they've been thinking about each other, particularly Roy Jones Jr., for all these years, a shot at Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson lost 100 pounds to participate in this. So he's ready to fight, and I know it's an exhibition, but I don't think that they're going to be able to conform to the rules that the Athletic Commission has put forward here, because something just could slip.
Well, you don't play boxing, that's for sure. At the end of the day, it's a fight, but you can only see it if you order our pay-per-view, and you don't want to miss this night, so order now.
Okay, that's fine. I was just saying what you wanted to do with your car. I was just gonna keep it going for like 20 minutes, and then after that, I was gonna be on the way. I got all black on. I got basically the same outfit I had on when I went to the college party. I just got a black bodysuit on. Alright, DJ got the house, so he said he was gonna be on the house. But he's sweet. He actually, so he's sweet. Hey, alright.
Welcome, I'm Mario Lopez, and we're live from Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles, and tonight is not like any night at the fight you've ever seen before. We have two legends, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., years after they hung up the gloves, squaring off in the ring for the first time in their careers. Tyson versus Jones is presented by Triller, the most culturally relevant app today with over 200 million downloads. Triller brings together the biggest names in music, social media, sports, and culture. Bottom line, TikTok is for kids, so go to the App Store right now and download Triller. Tonight is the double comeback fans have talked about for decades. The former undisputed heavyweight champion of the world taking on a 4-division champion in an 8-round exhibition. It's Iron Mike versus Captain Hook, with pride on the line and a chance to add a new chapter to their legacies. But we have more than legends of the sweet science. We have some of the biggest stars in music. We've got YG, St. John, we got French Montana, we have Wiz Khalifa, we have Snoop Dogg, and to perform the national anthem, Neo. And it's all brought to you by Triller, Acorns, DraftKings, and Weed Maps. Every great fight has ringside commentators sharing their expertise and calling the action. With us tonight, our play-by-play boxing sportscaster, Mauro Ranallo, one of the all-time boxing greats, Sugar Ray Leonard, and UFC middleweight champion Israel Stylebender Adesanya.
Mario, thank you very much. Looking forward to being joined by the dog, Father Snoop Dogg. And I know tonight's main event billed as an exhibition, but to paraphrase Snoop Dogg, it ain't no fun if the homies can't have none when it comes to putting mitts on each other. And I am joined by the, well, modern-day warrior, a striker, the highest order UFC middleweight champion, Israel Adesanya. And Israel, there is a lot of Roy Jones Jr. influence, it seems, in your style.
Yeah, 100%. Like what I said earlier about Roy being the guy who never fought by the textbook of boxing, and people shunned at the way he would throw lead hooks instead of throwing a jab. You know, he's a guy that influenced me with his flair, his finesse, his presence and flamboyance, you know, and not just him, Prince Nassim Ahmed, many who have come and gone, and I'm just trying to do the same thing in my own era.
What do you think he's going to be like tonight? I mean, 51 years old, been off almost 3 years, but he is Roy Jones Jr.
He's still Roy Jones. That's the thing. You almost forgot, but you might remember tonight because he has been active. You know, Mike has been out of the ring for 15 years. Roy, maybe 3 years was his last fight. So he's still going to be active, and he's still Roy Jones. And there's something about a crafty veteran you can never, ever count out.
All right, well, Sugar Ray Leonard, we have, of course, hip-hop royalty now, boxing royalty joining us, my man, undisputed welterweight champion, a member of the fabled Four Kings, and to the victor go the spoils. And Ray, you can empathize with Mike Tyson's career trajectory. Your career almost spoiled because of the lifestyle. Mike Tyson, when we last saw him 15 years ago, he had no love for the sport anymore, quit on his stool. But he says he's back, and I know you have a powerful relationship with Mike.
No question about that. I know what Mike is thinking, what he's feeling. I went through that point in my life, in my boxing career. The problem is once you retire for a year, inactive for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 15 years, one thing that happens is that you walk into that ring and you're civilized. To win in that four corners, it takes something else, something special inside of us. And to bring that up or out is one thing, but to activate it, that intestinal fortitude, it's a big different thing. It's here and it's hard.
And remember, the power is the last to go. Well, from boxing Hall of Famer to another boxing Hall of Famer, a man who is used to talking to goats. Let's go to Jim Gray.
Hey, Mauro, great to be with you. I'm here with Badou Jack. He's going to be on the card here tonight. Badou, why was it so important for you to fight on this card with Mike Tyson?
I mean, Mike Tyson is a friend of mine, and he asked if I want to be part of this event, and I said, of course. This is Mike Tyson. Why not?
So it's been 11 months since you fought Pascal.
Yeah.
It's been a difficult stretch for you because of some bad decisions and just some tough luck.
Yeah.
How are you handling it, and what are you trying to achieve here tonight? Another rematch with Pascal?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to happen first quarter of next year. So right now I'm focusing on this fight today, and then we go on to Pascal rematch.
Okay, and what has Mike Tyson provided to you as far as an inspiration? You've spent an awful lot of time with him training down in his gym in El Segundo.
Yeah, I mean, he was my favorite fighter, both him and Roy, I would say. Roy is my...
Let's go to our ringside team right now. Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Mario. Wiz Khalifa will appreciate this as we take a look at the tail of the tape presented by Weed Maps. And it will feature Jermaine Ortiz, a 24-year-old, against Suleiman Segawa, who is 5 years the elder. They both come in at 5'8", with Ortiz a slight reach advantage, and they do come in under the, well, lightweight limit. Here's Barry Egan.
Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, good evening and welcome once again to an incredible night of world-class boxing here at the legendary Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. Tonight, Triller presents Tyson versus Jones in association with CES Boxing. All of tonight's bouts are sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, the Commissioner, Mr. John Carvelli, the Executive Officer, Mr. Andy Foster. The judges scoring the bouts at ringside this evening, Rudy Barragon, Carla Caiz, Jerry Cantu, Jonathan Davis, Lou Moret, and Pat Russell. The physicians at ringside this evening, Dr. Kareem Khan, Dr. Robert Ruelas, Dr. Kelly Tucker, and Dr. Paul Wallace. The timekeepers this evening are Lorona Ganaway and Mike North. Los Angeles, here we go. This battle is scheduled for 8 rounds and is for the vacant WBC US NBC Silver Lightweight title. The man in charge of the action once the bell sounds, Mr. Ray Corona. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner to my right, wearing the black trunks with the gold trim, he weighed in at 131.8 pounds. He has a professional record of 13 wins, only 2 defeats, 1 draw, and 4 KOs. Out of Silver Spring, Maryland, here is Suleiman Segawa. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner to my left, wearing the white trunks with the blue trim. He weighed in at 133.8 pounds. He is undefeated. 13 wins, no defeats, 7 big wins by way of knockout. Out of Worcester, Massachusetts, here is Jermaine, the Technician Ortiz.
Mouthpiece. This is good right here. Short's just a hair high. Right there is good. This is my commands. You want to touch gloves, do it now. God bless.
Well, that's why Barry Egan gets the big bucks. It's Suleiman Segawa, and I apologize to the Ugandan as we get set for action here. 8 rounds or less.
You ready? Are you ready?
Undefeated Jermaine, the Technician Ortiz, 13-0 with 7 knockouts, taking on Suleiman Segawa, 13-2-1 with 4 KOs, and Ortiz comes out in the southpaw stance, or make that Segawa, my apologies. Little bit of a feeling out process here, Israel, as whoa, I spoke too soon. The piston-like jab from Ortiz.
You see Segawa is in the southpaw stance right now, so and when he's doing that, he has his foot on the outside of Ortiz's lead leg, so that's why he was able to avoid that onslaught just before by Ortiz.
What about facing a southpaw, Ray? What's that experience like?
Well, I've faced a lot of southpaws, and it throws you off a little bit because it's a different angle. Here, Segawa, he's just taking his time, walking this man down. But a lot of times it's difficult. It's awkward to fight a southpaw.
And this fight has a tough act to follow. We produced a thriller on Triller during the free hour. And we look forward to seeing what kind of fistic fireworks Segawa and Ortiz engage in.
You see Ortiz now switch to southpaw as well. I don't know how good he is at southpaw, but we're about to find out.
Yes, you are.
He ain't that combination from Ortiz.
And you look at Segawa, his calmness right now. He doesn't seem like he's even blinked this whole time. He's just taking his time and pressing forward when he needs to.
And the fact that both fighters southpaws makes it a lot easier. I've been told that for years.
Segawa 4-2-1 following a 9-0 start, but coming off an 8-round draw that some thought should have been a victory. Meanwhile, Ortiz, he's coming off a 274-day layoff, the second longest of his career. He's logged less than 2 rounds of action since August of 2019. Under a minute left here in the opening round. Beautiful, beautiful lead right hook around the guard, Israel, by Segawa.
Yeah, that looked a little bit Maidana-esque, if you know what I mean. But it was beautiful. And there's distance control as well. You see that when Ortiz jumps in, Segawa knows how to step back.
And yet, Ray, Segawa, glimpses of being a little wild with his punches, his combo.
A little what? It's his timing that's not allowing him to really execute the punches.
He's done a great job. For the most part, Ortiz has really showcased the jab, and now looking to be corralled in the corner, maybe trying to bait him in like we saw the legendary Roy Jones Jr. do in his heyday. Of course, he and Iron Mike Tyson getting it on in an 8-round exhibition in our main event. We're at the end of round 1 of our openers.
Nice, beautiful round by both men.
What stood out for you?
For me, it was Segawa's distance control. Whenever Ortiz stepped in, he was able to step back.
Stop doing the right hook to the body. Because he's coming in with his head down. Right hook to the body, bring uppercut behind. Focus down here. Start aiming at the chest. Right hook to the body, bring the left uppercut. Every time he comes in, his head down. You got to shoot the uppercut. It's yours. It's yours. Keep going to his chest. Like I said, you bring that head down. Don't get in time to catch. Just keep shooting that jab to the body. Keep shooting that to the body. It's yours. It's your time. All right, baby. Easy work, baby. Don't take too much. Right at the center. And then keep your angle. How about for you for long? All right?
Let's go. Second time. Mouthpiece in.
Well, we already talked about one thriller on Triller, and Jermaine Ortiz, big fan of Michael Jackson, just like Israel Adesanya. He's going to try to deliver the same thing here, but in round 2, Ray, what do you expect from Ortiz? Had a little success in the jab, but he's on the back foot.
Well, he really has to take advantage of that reach and that speed. What happens? The jab is so simple. We don't use it as much as we should.
And Israel, it almost appears at times Ortiz telegraphing the jab, allowing Sagawa to see it.
Yeah. He just caught a nice one right there.
And that was a hook.
Man, everyone came to throw down tonight here at the Staples Center as these two look at us staple each other here in round 2. Lead left by Sagawa, working the body while they clinch.
That's the thing I love about this game, man. You never know. Like you said, Ortiz's jab wasn't really landing before, but it might have been a setup. It might have been a bait just to let him know before he landed that hook.
Great point.
Beautiful, beautiful art of deception.
Just let those hands go.
A pulsating pace here in this, the opening encounter of what is one of the most unique nights in combat sports history. Only in 2020 as we continue to deliver more of the improbable. Sagawa, again, a little looping with some of the shots, but Ortiz unable to well, there he is against the southpaw. You want to deliver that right hand down the middle.
Yeah, you see, it seems like Ortiz has already found his rhythm now. He's found his flow a little bit more after catching Sagawa with that left hook. But Sagawa's still right there. He's still right there. But not really doing much in this round with the effectiveness of his punches. But Ortiz is getting the edge up on him now.
Why he's so effective is he's getting a little head feint, body feint. See here?
There we go, the looks.
The whole looks.
And we should mention Sagawa, second consecutive fight in which he has served as a last-minute replacement. And he's fighting a 6-0 loss fighter in his last 8 matches. He's 3-2-1, or 3-2 with 1 knockout in those bouts. So Sagawa used to being in this position, and Ortiz now really attacking with the jab back to orthodox, but Sagawa touching the body with the left hook.
Yeah, I love that. I love the fact that Ortiz hides his stance switches very well. And that's one of the keys when you're a stance switcher. You have to be able to hide your stance switches without your opponent seeing, so you can deliver that rear hand. Because when you switch your stance, your lead hand becomes your rear hand, and sometimes they have no idea when it happens until it hits them in the face.
Under 20 seconds left here in the second stanza. Maybe the pace beginning to abate just a bit. But still, some good stuff through 2 rounds, and really good stuff there by Ortiz. A couple of right hooks to the body ring.
Nice shot.
Ortiz's head gets popped back like a proverbial bed dispenser there in round 2. But what a night, guys. We having fun here.
We're honestly lucky. Blessed. We're blessed.
And what an eclectic team. We've got the undisputed welterweight champ, Sugar Ray, UFC middleweight champ.
Shoot at his chest, hooks upstairs. Hooks to the right there. No, I'm thinking too much. Okay. You with your hands to the fucking thing, okay? You gotta touch his body. You got to. Inside, touch the body, get up.
All right, about 10 minutes ago, we talk about being a unique night. Well, the only 3-time NBA slam dunk champion, the man with a 43.5-inch vertical, 5'9" Nate Robinson, played football. This guy's an uber athlete, and he is making his professional boxing debut coming up against, well, the problem child. Enough said. And this round 3 scheduled for 8 between Jermaine the Technician Ortiz in the blue gloves and his opponent Suleiman Sagawa in the black, and Sagawa from southpaw stabbing Ortiz with the jab.
Sagawa's corner suggested going to the body a little bit more.
Bring the jab down, bring the left hook
Segawa's being a little bit more aggressive this round. I feel like his defensive tactics were a bit too predictable, so he's going to have to switch it up, the patterns of his defense when he pulls away from Ortiz, because Ortiz was starting to read that in the second round. But he's pressing the action here in the third round. So
A nice escape by Ortiz momentarily, Ray, getting out of the corner, resetting in the center of the ring, but now the bigger Segawa muscling him to the ropes.
I think Segawa should just fight. Just get him against the ropes, in the corner.
Make it a dog fight.
Make it a dog, exactly. Make it a dog fight.
A Snoop Dogg fight. Under 2 minutes remaining here in the third round. And again, Segawa with that long-range jab, but now a little more clinching. Ray, and when it comes to clinching, what are you trying to prove there? Because you expend a lot of energy in clinches.
Well, when you clinch, that means a lot of times you get hurt. And you try to, calm down.
Keep him on his heels.
Or throw his rhythm off.
Or you can make them tired. One thing I like to do, especially when I box, I like to lean on people, let them carry my weight. Ooh, look at
some incredible shots being landed.
Nice, beautiful setup there with the shuffle punch.
Those were great punches there.
Man, Ortiz brutalizing the body with the right hand while Segawa looking to keep him at bay with that jab, but Ortiz able to counter, is he?
That's beautiful. And I like the way Segawa's using that shoulder as well, using that shoulder bar.
Nice cupping right hook by Ortiz.
He's using that just to create space so he can land his wild hooks. And he's working it.
Man, the way these fights, and this is the opener of the pay-per-view, we had a featherweight fight in the free hour, but with these 8-round distance, I mean, the pace has been incredible. Maybe something to be said at Ray.
Now, this is confidence from Ortiz. He's in the corner, moving his head.
Wow, double left by Segawa, just barely backs up Ortiz. Ortiz banging his head down a bit, could leave him susceptible to the uppercut.
And don't be a stationary target with Ortiz.
Definitely. Off the center line. Once you hit, in and out.
Get out. Move.
Ortiz.
Right there.
Still working full time as a union carpenter. Hopefully, he has the blueprint for victory. They have the blueprint for bruising each other.
That was a beautiful sequence. Ortiz literally landed whatever he wanted, and Segawa was getting touched up.
What an amazing atmosphere here for the Legends Only League opener. Again, during these uncertain times, obviously no fans in attendance, but we hope you're enjoying it from wherever you may be viewing around the world. If you're into nostalgia, tonight brings you all the feels.
Jab downstairs to the crossfade upstairs. Don't look up, but keep touching downstairs to the jab. As soon as you start doubling hit, uppercut. Hopefully body uppercut.
Gentlemen, round 2. Good. Don't load up, man. All right, touch. Keep touching. All right. Don't sure, baby. Don't think. Sure. Don't give him time to think. Keep the jab in his face. But like I said, you gotta aim cross to the chest, hook upstairs. Every time you go cross down, bring the hook up. Touch, push off there. All right. Let's go. We know we're gonna get a little ugly. You ready for that? Let's go. Ahí mismo, dan los brazos.
Round number 4 scheduled for 8. And they say that you don't choose boxing, boxing chooses you. But Ortiz attends Wentworth Institute and Worcester State University, says medical school could be in his future. Always good to have a backup plan, but right now he's trying to back up Segawa. Little Israel and Adesanya there.
Segawa into the matrix right there with Neo.
That was tight.
Oh, and then did you see the sidestep and then the right hand? So Segawa digging into his bag of tricks.
Nice. There you go. Don't let him step. Back to the jab. Nice. Punch off that.
But Ortiz able to use his footwork, Ray.
Keep working, Jermaine. As strong as you go.
That's what gives him problems. Keep moving those legs.
Working there. Turn them punches.
Here comes a soldier barge, shoulder barge, create space, and then fire off. He was using his head as well. We call that the nodder back in the day. Still using his head. Not a headbutt, but just to kind of like...
Wow. Just beautiful combination executed by Ortiz. Nice lead. Left uppercut lands. The second one misses for Segawa. How do you like it? How do you... I messed up. I mean, I'm spoiled.
Love him. Segawa's starting to look like he's slowing down, but he's still being tenacious and he's still being a fighter.
Gets clipped with the left cross, and boy, Segawa took that shot, rolled a bit fires with the jab from the southpaw position past the midway point of the fourth frame.
Ortiz is he's thinking while he's not just throwing punches, he's thinking.
Yes, he is.
He's placing his shot.
And he's timing him as well as he landed that counter left hook, although beautiful weave and ducking under there by Sagawa, is he?
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, Sagawa's not going to look like he's slowing down in this round, and Ortiz, I feel
And that will slow Sagawa down, a shock to the system as Ortiz just thudding, including the jab, a stiff, sharp jab.
See, I feel like Ortiz can feel him slowing down. He's getting the momentum on his side now.
Yeah, Ortiz the matador.
And like Ray said, he's starting to pick his shots and place them nicely. That's dope.
Ortiz continues to be first. Sagawa with the peekaboo guard there, the high guard, but now backed up to the fence.
Look at the body language. Look at the body language between both of
Backed
them.
up to the fence. Back up to the ropes.
Yeah, boy, look at that.
Oh,
Look at Ortiz's feet. Look at his footwork. I mean, stepping around, pivoting.
Yeah, there's definitely not a lot of pop for Sagawa, maybe just trying to score some points here in the final seconds, but Ortiz continues to dig away with the left hook to the body.
And he's doing it in southpaw as well. I mean, now we're finding out how good he is in southpaw.
A beautiful round for the Jermaine Ortiz, living up to his nickname, the Technician. Oh, little Roy Jones Jr. and Ortiz.
The Technician.
You watch the body language in that round right there. You can see who the hunter was and who the prey was. That round definitely to Ortiz.
Or the Technician.
Yup. The Technician is the sobriquet.
Yeah, the Technician.
Deep breath. I need deep breath. Hold it. Let it out slowly. Nice and relax. Let that out too. Slowly, nice and relax.
Why not? 2020.
Better out than in.
Better out well. Oh, that pretty shit. Don't get in that pretty. Stop going right here. Then throw the left upstairs. Jab down, bring the left up. You got to.
Well, we await our next encounter coming up later tonight, a celebrity fight. There's the problem child, the internet superstar, over 31 million followers across all social media platforms. He talks a garbage dump worth of trash, but hey, he's been in the ring as a pro before. We'll have a second fight against the debuting Nate Robinson. That one should be interesting. And this one has definitely been more than interesting as well. What a combination by Sagawa.
Yeah, Sagawa likes it. He's starting strong whenever the rounds come, but he has to keep that pace, that tempo, and manage his gas tank better.
Ortiz with the technique, that sharp jab, and that was honed in the amateurs. He made it to the 2015 National Golden Gloves, losing to Teofimo Lopez in the final as he continues to pivot away from the ropes in the corner ring.
That was a thing of beauty. He pivoted out, smooth on balance and everything.
Keep moving. We know Israel Adesanya can bust a move. You got to be impressed with the footwork here.
100%. Like I said, one way to get a jump fight right there. See the way he turned him right there?
Yes.
Get away from the ropes and take the center of the ring. Beautiful footwork.
Vasily Lomachenko also very adept at the angles and throwing punches while moving.
There's levels to this shit. Vasily's at the highest level of that.
And there's again the jab that's been.
Accidental headbutt, all right?
Was it a cut?
Okay.
It's an accidental headbutt. Referee allowing it to continue, and Sagawa appears to be okay. Just past the midpoint of the fifth.
Sagawa seems like he's recovered very well from the last round, looking very tired. He seems like he's recovered well from that now.
And again, just 8 rounds as we head towards the much-anticipated main event, the return of the legends, and Sagawa and Ortiz earning their keep here in the opening contest.
Now, Ortiz he's really setting this man up for that left hand and right hook. He's thinking here. Getting out of the corner.
Yeah, Ortiz continues to be able to escape, but Sagawa having a much better round, like you said, Israel. And with Ortiz, he has that sharp jab, needs to continue to put the combos together.
And now he's moving. Damn.
Wow.
Nice.
Everyone paying tribute here tonight.
Look at him. I love it.
I'm sure you do, my friend. Might be looking into a mirror at times.
But one thing about that as well, he's not just doing it for show. A lot of people might see that and think he's just trying to show off, but he's disrupting Segawa's timing with that.
Great round.
Good shot.
Segawa going to the body. Competitive clash here.
Perfect shot.
The debut of the Legends Only League. And I'm joined by, of course, legendary Sugar Ray Leonard and a future legend in Israel Adesanya.
Don't punch it, man. Let the fucking right, let him up. Yeah, you call him downstairs. As soon as you call him with the jab down, overhand left. Bring him to it. Jab down, overhand left. It's dead. You call him as soon as you do it. You call him. Give it to him again. Just fill him out with the jab, keep filling, then sneak it in. You don't, all you gotta do is do one time to sneak that overhand left.
On the job. When you're close, you get you tight. Put your head on the heels and work off that. You can step around them. Set them up for a body shot. All right?
He paused with the jab, throws an overhand left.
Good
Wow,
shot.
that was beautiful.
I didn't know it was that shot.
And he came back with another one. You look at the jab, the extension on it as well. He had the range. You could find that shot anywhere.
Just half of Ortiz's 13 victories have been via form of knockout. He's undefeated at 13-0. Segawa is 13-2-1. Segawa from Kampala, Uganda, now fighting out of Silver Springs, Maryland. Ortiz, native of Worcester, Massachusetts. And he is, ahead in terms of punches landed in round 5. Again, just a competitive affair. A lot of a good pace here. Man, the jab really is everything, and Ortiz sticking to the fundamentals, Ray.
I'm really, the whole time, even the first fight, I'm so impressed with the conditioning of these fighters.
100%. You can see they haven't really slowed down too much, or if even like Segawa, when he did, he recovers very well and comes back and presses the action. They came in good late, both of them.
Israel, you've boxed, you've kickboxed, you've been an MMA fighter. The training is similar, but different. When you were boxing, was it that much different from, I mean, other than the disciplines, in terms of conditioning?
Yeah,
two different things?
For me, the shoulder conditioning, I had to make sure I was able to punch for long periods of time without getting tired. So getting my shoulders conditioned, that was one thing I could say was a little bit challenging, but I mean, I rise to the occasion when it comes to challenges.
And there's a lead, the left uppercut and a jab from the southpaw, Segawa.
I need you to bring that left up behind that.
What do you like more in this fight right now, Israel?
I'm liking the way they almost at a stand. Oh, the angles. Wow, that's beautiful. Beautiful. See that hit it with the jab and then almost teleported behind them. I love it when guys do that. As they're turning, you can catch them as well when they're trying to find out where you are in the space of the ring.
Yeah, and Ortiz been showcasing his angles. A jab and slap, but he almost paid for his showboating right there as Segawa tagged him, but Ortiz recuperating resilience and Segawa going to the well with these uppercuts.
Yeah, that's a bit of a tell now. Like he's done it a few times, so Segawa was able to read it when he's bouncing. When he's bouncing, he knows right he's about to attack. So Segawa intercepted him right there.
You see that shot to the body? I mean, Segawa is really composed here.
And remember Ortiz doing the showboating when Roy Jones Jr. did it against James Toney. Toney tried to do it too and he got knocked out.
He got clipped.
What a great fight that was. Really maybe
that's an iconic moment.
Plus ultra for Roy Jones Jr. of course also ascended to the heavyweight championship, but let's not forget what we're seeing in front of our eyes. A great matchup between Jermaine Ortiz, 24 years of age, against the 29-year-old Sulaiman Segawa. Another
down the pipe.
Beautiful right hand by Ortiz. Team up and again lands the shot. And Segawa's got to get away from the ropes.
Great combinations by both guys. Both men. Good chins, by the way.
Saturday night's all right for fighting.
Keep that hook to the body. Keep it. All right. Keep it. 7. I need you to pick up the pace.
Where Ortiz gets
good here. You trying to win? Yes, sir. You good here? I don't want you to. I'm good.
Force him back. Force him back.
I don't want you to try to win. I want you to win.
When he start, you gotta box him. Box him. When he start throwing that pretty stuff, go in there. All of this is open. When his hands hit, all of this is open. He's waiting for you to go upstairs. Just so he duck down, try to sneak an uppercut.
Yeah, you see here, Ortiz bouncing, trying to. This is a tell for him. Now he's about to attack, and Sagawa intercepted him beautifully because he knew whenever he was bouncing, he's getting ready to attack. He's getting ready to spring in, and that was a beautiful interception by Sagawa.
Yes, and it was Ortiz trying to lay the trap, trying to bait him, but he paid for it. Sagawa, as we continue here, the penultimate round, we're scheduled for 8. This is round number 7, a highly competitive affair between the undefeated Jermaine Ortiz and Suleiman Sagawa.
Oh man, this is what I really miss about boxing. Well, one of the things I miss about boxing is like in a close fight, you got another round or two. And you got to push it, work hard.
Oscar De La Hoya against Felix Trinidad. Your Ortiz better. Got to keep punching here in round number 7.
And credit to Ortiz because I know how hard that is. Look at the angles. I know how hard that is to be bouncing on your feet late in the round. So it shows the level of his conditioning that he's able to do that.
And he wants to, even though Sagawa's the longer fighter, has the reach advantage, but it's Ortiz maybe just trying to continue to tire out Sagawa, pick his spots, duck there with a right uppercut, but Sagawa continues to flash the jab. Oh, nice counter right uppercut by Ortiz, but Sagawa comes right back, Ray.
Oh, yeah, Sagawa is really doing a great job here. Body shots.
Nice.
Ortiz he's very mobile.
Yeah, while he's being mobile, he's trying to rest. But I love the way Sagawa's cutting him off as well, not giving him a break, sniping right in his face.
And it's about time because we've seen Ortiz being able to escape a lot.
Yeah, so Sagawa is following him, chasing him around the ring.
Oh, right uppercut, another right, couple right uppercut. Let's roll. We saw Gervonta Davis land maybe the uppercut of the year against Leo Santa Cruz, and we've seen a buffet of uppercuts here.
Call that
in this fight. We have the Ayatollah Bantamweight. Wow, Ortiz.
Good shot, good jab.
Another jab there, Ray.
I would say these guys, all these fights have been like evenly matched.
Well, that's one thing we'd like to see throughout the sport. The best fighting the best, not necessarily saying that here. These two are up-and-comers, but it is all about matchmaking. And boxing fans want to relive the glory days, Israel.
100%. I respect the matchmaking in this whole card. So far, it hasn't felt like...
Sagawa takes a knee after that.
Was that a body shot? Was that a body shot?
That was like a phantom body shot.
Oh, it was a body shot.
Yeah. He had no choice. He had no choice. Involuntary body response. He had to take a knee.
Wow.
Continue, hands up.
All right. Now we're going to see how well he can recover.
The power of Jermaine Ortiz fishing for his stoppage.
You better go back down there.
Look at his elbow. His elbow's protecting that liver at all costs.
Ortiz hunting Sagawa. Sagawa trying to protect. He's a wounded prey. And Ortiz looking for the kill shot here. Ortiz and the referee has intervened. And Jermaine, the technician Ortiz, improves to 14-0 with his 8th stoppage. And he does it in style. Lifestyle bender.
What a comeback.
I didn't see the replay. I didn't see the replay. That was a phantom body shot. It was a beautiful competitive fight till then, and he just snuck that one in there.
Legends only league. Jermaine the Technician Ortiz on the biggest stage of his career and really showcasing his skills. Suleiman Sagawa, again, hats off you guys. He took this fight on short notice. Showed a lot of heart, showed a lot of technique, but couldn't endure the body shot.
Represent my hometown. You support me, I love him. All right, Peter.
All right, Israel, here, let's take a look at the finish and how it was set up.
So he's on him right there. Boom.
Oh, wow. It's like an uppercut to the liver.
Yeah, it was a sneaky one as well. Instantly, look at the pain in his face.
Yeah.
Look at the wince.
It's a delayed reaction.
Yeah, those are the worst ones, too. Those are the worst ones.
Telling me.
I know UFC Hall of Famer El Guapo Basrun will be pleased with that liver shot.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, shout out to Basrun, definitely. He would appreciate the beauty of that.
Wow, what a nice right.
He was fully on the defense in this bit, or Segawa was. He was just, you could see his left elbow and his right elbows were tucked, just trying to protect himself. And he got through. He still got through with the last one. That was beautiful. Yeah,
The
good stopping by the
persistence and the tenacity of the technician. And it delivers a big victory here, Ray.
Yeah, well, I can actually show you how it feels. I mean, I can hit you.
You, Raul Marquez, you probably want to settle because he's always looking to deliver one of these. All right, here we go, guys. It's a fun start, a great fight. Let's go to the ring announcer, Barry Egan. No, thank you, Ray.
Los Angeles, the time, 2 minutes, 50 seconds into round number 7 for the winner. By way of knockout and still undefeated and new WBC USNBC silver lightweight champion, Jermaine the Technician Ortiz.
The Technician.
Yeah, a nice show of respect from Suleiman Segawa as he applauds the victory of Jermaine Ortiz. Let's take a look at how Ortiz got it done, the punch stats, and again, a competitive fight, guys. As we had Segawa actually ahead in the landed punches, and they again throwing for over 1,000 punches, but in the end, Ortiz, that body shot leads to the victory. And when it comes to power, again, 111 to 92 as Suleiman Segawa threw more, but it was Ortiz that was a little more accurate, including with that final shot.
Jesse Cofield here with DraftKings to celebrate the return of 2 boxing.
Determination and legalization slow burn wouldn't be smoldering without them. They break down stigmas, build up equity, and just say yes. Yes to good troublemaking. Yes to being empowered. Yes to fair access. Now more than ever, Weedmap says yes and stands with the fighters for change.
During much of that time with Mike, who ruled the ring, of course, this next legend we're about to hear from ruled rap. And he's got a story that shows how boxing links people together.
Not too long ago, I found out that I was related to Tom Molyneux, a boxing champion born into slavery, and he fought and beat so many other slaves that he ultimately earned his freedom. I remember telling Mike about my ancestor and seeing him overcome with emotions, and I'm sure Mike saw himself in Tom. Now, Mike wasn't a slave, of course, but he surely, had to overcome mental slavery. You know what I'm saying? Mental slavery that comes with poverty, that comes with depression. You know what I mean? Personal trauma. For Tom Molyneux and, Mike Tyson, boxing is more than a sport. It's a means of survival. It's life. And they weren't just fighting the opponent standing in front of them. They were fighting for their freedom, fighting for an opportunity to live a better life. It's the American dream and the dream of our ancestors. It's bigger than entertainment. This is another example of Black excellence and another chapter of Black history.
Mama said knock you out, and we need to knock out the stigma of mental health, but some powerful words from LL Cool J. Ray. What's your reaction after hearing from the rap icon?
It's powerful, and it's accurate, and it's inspirational.
And Israel, I'm a big mental health advocate. I know you are as well.
Oh, definitely. One thing I say is not everyone is mentally ill, but like your physical health, if you don't look after it, you're going to get sick. You're going to get mentally ill. So, yeah, props to him for speaking about that and talking about mental slavery and overcoming.
And props to Mike Tyson for overcoming, as well as we get set for our next fight. And let's take a look at the tail of the tape. It is presented by Weedmaps, and we are set for Badou Jack versus Blake McKernan, light heavyweight matchup, and McKernan facing his toughest exam against a former 2-division champion. And yeah, Badou Jack, 4 years older, now 37, both 6'1", and really both the same reach, and they come in physically the same, but Jack, as we talk about, there is levels to this sport. Here's Barry Egan. Oh, sorry, let's go to this. Let's take a look at the DraftKings Sportsbook Tale of the Bet, featuring the following pre-fight betting markets for the Jack McKernan fight. And what were the odds that I would make a mistake like that? I'd say pretty good. Let's look at the money line here. And boy, as I mentioned, all Badou Jack here, Ray. The odds in Israel, what do you make of these numbers?
See, to be honest, I'm a bit of a gambler myself, but I don't know anything about those numbers whenever I see them. But I think Badou Jack is definitely the favorite for a reason. He's fought multiple world champions, and yeah, it's time to see.
And
Making
tonight
his
only
way to the ring first, Blake McKernan.
Well, tonight only you can play free in a Fight Night pool for your share of $25,000 in prizes with DraftKings as we get set. And here's a guy putting all the money on himself. Years old. His name is Blake McKernan. He's the beast. He'll tell you his name, Izzy. This guy has ultimate confidence. Been a hard knock life. Turned pro 16 days before his 29th birthday. He grew up poor. His parents were rarely around. Joined the military. Was there for over 3 years. And now has found his way to the biggest stage. He says he's Rocky meets Rambo.
Yeah, definitely. I watched the press conference between him and Badou Jack, and you can see he didn't take any of Badou's baits. Even though Badou was trying to bait him into a verbal warfare, he kept on showing respect, but he was letting him know that I'm not here to play around. I'm here to take your head off. But Badou's a veteran in this game, and he's fought at the highest level. He called him, what do you call him? A B-grade fighter or something like that. A club fighter. And I don't think Blake took too lightly to that, but he still showed his respect and said, you'll see tonight. So we're about to see.
Yeah, McKernan hopes to be Clubber Lang, maybe.
And now making his way to the ring, Badou Jack.
Side note, I love the fashion. I love the fashion these boxers have been rocking tonight.
Styling and profiling with their fans.
One thing I definitely miss with the UFC, with this whole deal that they have a Reebok or whatever.
Well, let's stick to what we know here as we got Badou Jack, and I've been ringside for so many of this talented fighter's fights. A former 2-division champion at 168, 175. But boy, I hope for his sake it doesn't go to the judges, Ray, because he has been snake bitten when it comes to scoring.